Chapter 31 The Next McKnight. September 13, 2036 20 years later since the extinction of the Godslingers and now at the Curtis Institute of Music in Philadelphia a 20-year-old first-year college student is in the cafeteria having lunch while his childhood tomboy best friend is sitting next to him. The college student's appearance is blonde slick-back hair with white on the center of it, blue eyes with freckles. On his back is his favorite purple electric guitar strapped to his back, which has a white glowing dragon engravement that spits music notes enchantment on the left side of the bass, and on the right side of the base of it is a navy blue rocker switch. Next, for the torso, he has black leather trench coat that goes down to his knees. Under it is a white short sleeve shirt tucked in, blue scarf around his neck, brown ripped pants with belt which on each side is a holster for each of his silver Desert Eagles, lastly black leather boots with purple laces. As they eat together, the college student looked to his best friend to see she's listening to a song, so he looked at her phone that's on the table showing a rock song called Cry Fallen Bird by the Magical Phoenix. The college student chuckles as he had both his wireless black earphones on. He took them both out and put them in their case. "That song will never leave your head, will it, Ray?" he asked while putting the case in his pocket. The tomboy best friend, who revealed to be named Ray Firefly, looked at the college student with a smile. Her appearance is cyan hair with black streaks and silver headphones, green eyes. She's wearing a zip-up hoodie that has a silver raven logo on the front, dark cyan backpack, baggy blue jeans and white shoes with black soles. "You kidding me, Hank? Ever since you released that song it's been blowing up with views, not to mention we're finally getting paid at the merch store. Man, you should make more stuff like this in the future," she said, but Hank shrugs. I couldn't care. It's extra money CryTube is paying me for, so people can see my talent, which hopefully it can help with my career as a musician, said Hank. Ray stops the song and rests her headphones around her neck while looking at the college student, who revealed to be named Hank. "Can I borrow your notes? I feel like I forgot something," she asked, but Hank raised an eyebrow. "You forgetting notes? The smartest tomboy I know, Ms. Firefly, somehow forgets notes. Somehow I doubt that." Ray scoffs, rolling her eyes. "I've been distracted with some things in the past few days and I thought I missed something, so would you please hand me your notes, mister?" she said with movement of 4 of her fingers, gesturing to hand the notes over, which Hank nodded and opened his gray backpack that's on the seat next to him and handed her his notebook. "Here. Thanks," she said as she took the notebook and grabbed hers to compare notes while writing down what she missed. While she does that, Hank looks over his shoulders to see something he finds strange, as a girl in a cheerleading uniform leaning against the wall, having one hand on her left eye shaking. This could be considered normal, but he read the emotion off her right eye of pure terror, so he casually got off his seat. "Did you notice something?" Ray asks casually as she keeps writing, not bothering to look at him. "Yeah, looks like someone saw something they shouldn't have been right back," he said as he walked towards the cheerleader while Ray waved him away dismissively. The cheerleader flinches as she notices Hank's approach and the intent in his eyes. Can I help you?" she said quietly, still trembling, as Hank stopped walking and asked softly, "Are you okay, Ms.? You seem to be troubled or hurt." The girl looked at him with her one eye and with hesitation she shakes her head. "I am not." The girls, they. She suddenly froze as Hank gently grabbed her wrist and pulled her hand away from her left eye, showing the huge black eye around her eye like she was punched extremely hard, as Hank frowned. "Who did this to you?" he asked, which made the cheerleader more shaky by the seriousness in his face. My team, we were getting changed as we finished practice, but then they." She stopped, hesitating to speak up as Hank softened. "Please let me assist." She looked at him again, unsure why he's helping her, but she closed her eyes and speak. They suddenly attacked me with their eyes suddenly red and their teeth were like sharks. Hank let go of her wrist and walk away, already guessing they're in the girls' locker room, so he walks towards that direction. Go to the infirmary, I'll go get a professor. He lied as he walked while the cheerleader wanted to stop him, but she felt a hand on her shoulder causing her to flinch and look at the person who touched her, only to see Ray with Hank's backpack and her own. Don't worry, he knows what he's doing now, come on, I'll help you get to the infirmary, she declared, which no other option. The cheerleader nodded and followed Ray. Meanwhile, as Hank walked, he grabbed his smartphone. Not a master hacker like Ray is, but I should be able to shut down the nearby cameras, he thought as he hacked away until all the hallway cameras were turned off. After that was done, he approached the girls' locker room down and took a deep breath. Please, no naked girls, he begged to the Lord above as he opened the door and investigated. As he entered, he locked the door and walked inside. As he looked around, he heard voices, so he hid against a locker side as he peeked around to see a group of cheerleaders still dressed, much to Hank's relief, but he ignored the girls' chatter despite they having many sharp teeth and red eyes. But what really catches his eye is the creatures sleeping and wrapped around each girl's calves. The creatures are snake-like with blue scales but with large gills and actual ears of a wolf. As Hank glares at the creatures, sea walkers. Trickster creatures that came from lakes to invade weak-minded creatures' bodies to have fun. Well, I am in no mood for fun, he whispered to himself as he approached the possessed cheerleaders as his right arm transforms into a purple slime hand and grew its size as its hand grabbed the entire group, shocking the girls. Fun times over, sea snakes, Hank said as the sea walkers slither across the ground, causing the girls' eyes and teeth to return to normal as they fall unconscious. As the girls did, the 5 sea walkers grew into human size and grow arms and legs with spikes all over them and sharp claws. Well, look at what we have here, a cute blonde wanting to fight us, Sea Walker 1 said as Hank let go of the group of girls as his hand returns to normal. We'll admit that's some neat trick, dear child, not as good as us, but it seems we'll have to kill you now for your distraction, said Sea Walker 2 as all the Sea Walkers grinned, but Hank was unfazed as he pulled out his purple guitar, which made the Sea Walkers chuckle. Hee on, no, a bat with strings, whatever shall I do? Taunted Sea Walker 5 as Hank, uncaring of the taunt, flicked the navy blue rocker switch on, transforming his purple electric guitar in battle axe mode, which the entire guitar shape shifts into in battle axe mode, which is completely different as it changed shape into a large silver battle axe with a long pole attached to 2 blades with gold edges. On the middle of the axe is a straight line where a magnet is as it can be split into 2. On each blade is a purple slime orb so to power the connection between Hank and the weapon. On the bottom of the axe is a grip with navy blue colors. The guard is round and gold on top of the grip, while on the bottom is silver with a silver ball at the very end. Lastly, on the right base of the blade is the same navy blue rocker switch. Seeing the weapon transform caused the Sea Walkers to look in surprise as one of them, the 4th one, swears something in their language, but by that time Hank used the chance to slice its head off easily, causing the Sea Walkers' shock turn into rage for their dead brother as they glare at Hank, who rests the battle axe on his shoulder. Now then, why don't you sing for me, monsters? The Sea Walkers charge after Hank, but Hank dodges their attacks and fight back, slicing a few of them, leaving 2 remaining as one Sea Walker turn into a snake form and wrap around Hank's legs, causing Hank to trip, but he instantly rolled around to his feet while he used an secret ability of the battle axe and separate the battle axe into 2 halves by separating the center magnets that's keeping them together, causing him to dual wield 2 halves of the battle axe. He threw the left axe to one of the remaining Sea Walkers, causing it to bleed against the wall, while he used the right axe in his hand to cut the last Sea Walker on his legs like rope. Once all dead thanks to the purple slime orb inside the axes, he can control the two halves of the axes with telekinesis, as the half he wasn't holding flew back to his free hand as he puts the battle axe halves back together into one again and flip the navy blue rocker switch back off as the weapon goes back to guitar mode and turns back to normal, so he strap it back on while a loud knocks on the locked door is heard. Security opened this door immediately. The loud female security guard called out, causing Hank to flinch as he grabbed a lighter from his pocket and used it to burn the sea walkers, removing evidence as they turned to ash. Once done leaving the unconscious cheerleader, Hank's entire body turned into a humanoid purple slime, then shape shifts into a purple slime spider while the girls' locker room door was kicked in as the female security guard walked inside. "Who's there? I know you're here," she called out with her taser on her hip, but Hank looked up to see a vent. With an idea, he uses his current form to climb up and walk inside. As he crawls through the vents, he notices another vent opening near the ground, so he looked down to see Ray about to walk past, so he leaped down and landed on Ray's shoulder, causing her to look at her shoulder to see Hank. "Oh, hey there." "Why, hello," said Hank teasingly. "So what was going on?" she asked, while Hank, noticing nobody nearby and cameras still deactivated, transformed back to normal and getting his backpack from Ray, he responded, "Sea walkers invaded the school and try having fun possessing some cheerleaders." This made Ray raised an eyebrow. "Why are they on land?" Hank shrugged. "Who knows? So what happened to the black-eyed girl? I took her to the infirmary and spread a fake story about a teenage boy pervert in the locker room and tried to knock out witnesses, which the doctor seemed to approve of my story. I finished my notes and empty our lunches ready for our next class." Ray asked, which Hank nodded as they walked away from the scene while the cameras turned back on after that hours later and school ended for the day. So at night, after Hank dropped off his backpack at home, he eventually entered a random bar, making everyone look at who entered, but then quickly went back to minding their business. Hank looks around until he sees a man almost his age, probably 3 years older. His appearance is a fully black suit with a backpack, orange messy hair and green eyes. The man waves at him as he was waiting for him. So Hank walks and sits down in front of him. "Hey man, it's been a little bit. How's old man Morgan?" asked Hank. The man in front of him, who revealed to be named Mango, shrugged. "Dad's doing fine. He's losing his mind after I took over the business though," said Mango, making Hank chuckle. "Oh, I bet. My parents will get bored, especially Dad, if he stopped working." Mango nods. Indeed, he's currently visiting Marty Proton's grandson Max Proton, as he recently took over Marty's place as ruler of Phoenix City, but he's still recovering from Marty's passing. Hank nods. "Yeah, my parents started to feel better recovering from the grief of losing Uncle Marty at the age of 60 from that heart attack. Anyway, it's best we change the subject. So I know you don't do social calls, so got a job for me?" asked Hank, which made Mango nod and handed him a piece of paper, so Hank picked it up. "That address is where you need to go. There's been reports of a serial killer in Brazil, and in that paper is the address for the detective working on the case. Our task is simple. Our client wants that killer gone and off the streets," explained Mango, which made Hank nodded in understanding. "Simple as that. I can do that," said Hank, making Mango nods and stand up. "Good, then I best be going." Hank smirks. "Always just business with you. When have you relaxed for once?" "I just have a lot of stuff to do and want to get it out of my way. Have a good night, Hank, and call me when you finish the job," said Mango while walking away, leaving the bar. Hank sighed. "That guy is going to pass out from overworking, I swear. Well, I came all this way, might as well get a drink," said Hank while he stands up and takes a seat on the bar stool. The bartender approaches him and asks, "Identification, sir?" Hank shakes his head. I don't drink. Can I get some water? The bartender nodded to that response. That I can do. Hank nodded and paid the bartender and waited until they gave him his cup of water. As he drinks his water, 3 men enter the bar, which causes something to vibrate in his left pocket, so Hank picks it up. The object was a replica of Henry's enchanted taser, as during his training he made replicas of almost all of Henry's gadgets. He turns it to the back of it to show the compass pointing at one of the 3 men, specifically the bald one, a demon, but which one of them is possessed? Whispered Hank, but watched to see what would happen. The 3 men looked at the woman sitting next to Hank, who seemed to be having a rough day. The bald one of the 3 touches the woman on the shoulder. Why, the long face, beautiful, have somebody given you a bad time? Don't worry, come with me and we'll make you feel better, said the bald human, which made Hank frown. No thank you, I rather be alone, said the woman in a low, depressing voice. The bald human frowns and grabs her on the wrist and pulls her off her stool. Come on, darling, it will be fun. She tries to pull his hand off. Let go of me, she cried, but then Hank stood up. You heard the lady, hands off, said Hank, making the bald human raise an eyebrow, letting go of her wrist, so the woman ran away. Maybe we should get going, said the bald human's friend, making the bald human angry. With his left hand he grabs a bottle and breaks it to use a weapon and make a cut on that person's forearm, making them fall to the ground, while the bald human ignores his cry and instead he looks at Hank. And who the hell are you to tell me what to do, huh? Yelled the bald human, but Hank ignored him, making the bald human throw a punch. Don't you ignore me, brat, he yelled, but Hank grabbed the bald human's wrist before his face touched Hank, making the bald human growl, but his eyes widened when Hank's left sleeve slid down to reveal his Bloody Phoenix tattoo, making the bald human shake. You can't be, said the bald human. What's wrong? Said one of the bald human's friends. He's from the Bloody Phoenix bloodline, said the bald human, making Hank grin. Indeed, I am name's Hank McKnight, son of the Bloody Phoenix, and I think you just came to the wrong place. Demon, said Hank as he activates his taser and tased the bald human in the stomach, causing the bald human to collapse while a demon comes out of their body and dash away. A speed demon, dang it, said Hank while putting his taser away and kneels to the injured friend of the bald human who got cut. Hank pulled down his right sleeve to reveal an black bracer with a buckle on the palm side to keep it on, but what's on the forearm is more important, as what's on it is a black tiny container with an glowing green engraving on top, which is an medical heartbeat cross. On the tip of the tiny container is an open-mouthed black snake with green eyes. On the left of the container is a green rocker switch. This device is the healing spray cuff he created with the help of his mother, enchanting healing magic into it. He flicked the switch and a green spray came out of the snake's mouth like a hose and made contact with the wound, causing it to regenerate like it was never there. He turned the device off and pulled his sleeve back up while both the bald human's friends still looked at Hank in shock and amazement. What the hell was that? Asked one of the bald human's friends that is still standing, but Hank ignores him and heads outside while lowering his sleeve. Once outside he turns both his legs into purple slime legs, with his knees and calves taking the shape of spring-shaped legs, causing him to bounce slightly as he blitz away at super speeds. A few minutes later the speed demon dashed until it stopped running, ending up at the dead end of an alleyway. I must have gotten away by now, right? The speed demon asked himself, but he heard noises, so he turned to see a purple slime rat, making the speed demon confused until the rat exploded, scattering its purple slime pieces all over the alley, but they slowly expand and connect to build a box, making the speed demon realize what's going on. Not good, said the speed demon, but then it got shot by a bullet in the thigh, causing him to kneel to the floor, grunting in annoyance. Not good indeed, said a familiar voice, which the speed demon turned to see Hank aiming one of his desert eagles at the creature. As the speed demon look at Hank, he just chuckles at his situation. He so you plan to box me in here, huh kid? Well, it won't work, said the speed demon, trying to get up and regenerate, causing the bullet to pop out of it, but Hank shrugged. You can say all you want, but my purple slime magic will keep you trapped here until I am done with you, said Hank while putting his gun away, and instead he grabs his guitar and activate battle axe mode. Let's get this over with, said Hank, but the speed demon runs around Hank in circles, hopefully to confuse Hank, but Hank just waits with concentration. But then the speed demon goes for a punch from behind, but suddenly Hank's entire torso and back turn into purple slime, causing the speed demon's punch to be absorbed like rubber and repel it back, causing it to crash into the brick wall behind Hank. Damn it, growled the speed demon while Hank looks over his shoulder chuckling. What an idiot, said Hank as the speed demon regains his footing and decided to engage in a hand-to-hand combat. As the speed demon's extremely fast attacks go after Hank, Hank transforms his entire body into a purple slime version of himself, causing all the attacks to be absorbed effortlessly, which annoyed the speed demon, but Hank didn't care, and cutting it down and gaining the advantage until he cut a wound so badly it exposed its heart, so he grabbed one of his guns and fire a bullet through it, causing the speed demon to freeze in its place as it stare at the hole in its chest, then glare at Hank with last words. Screw you, Phoenix, it said as the speed demon falls to his knees and slowly turns into ash. With the fight over, Hank turns his electric guitar back to normal while the slime box trapping them both gets absorbed back inside Hank's purple slime body. Once the area is clear, Hank sighs of satisfaction while transforming back to normal. Well, that takes care of that. Help, my store has been robbed, yelled a male voice from the distance, making Hank groan. This is going to be a long night, he said in annoyance as he turned and sprint towards the source of the voice. Meanwhile, in New York, Manhattan, there's a big casino called Mr. Heartbreaker's Money Farm, and by the entrance a figure approaches the front building where the valet notices from his post and smirks. Ah, you must be Mr. Phoenix. My coworkers before me told me about you. Welcome back. How long has it been? 5 years. The valet asked as it revealed the figure as Henry McKnight, aka the legendary Bloody Phoenix. However, his appearance has completely changed since 20 years ago, as his appearance is now a white male skin with long blonde hair that goes to his shoulders, with red dyed hair only on the tips, green left eye and red right eye, and lastly his face grew a little blonde stubble. As for the outfit, his top is white plain turtleneck with his sleeves down that has red veins design that goes up to his elbows, and also a necklace around his neck, but it isn't just a normal necklace, as it's called the Anti-Immortality Necklace, which is a custom-made wedding gift from Rose, as thanks to magic it allows Henry to age again, but his lifespan expanded to he can die when he reached 150 years old, making Henry physically 41 years old. However, he still has his regeneration like before. The design of the necklace is a purple long circle with a silver Japanese dragon wrap around it with its body and the head of it carrying the chain that allows Henry to wear the necklace. He also grew some height, as he used to be about 5 feet and 5 inches, but now he grew to 6 feet and 5 inches. Hidden under the shirt on his right shoulder is a red Bloody Phoenix tattoo. Over the shirt is a black bulletproof vest with a silver zipper in the middle. Over the vest is his iconic black jacket, but it grew in size to match his new growth thanks to his wife's magic. The jacket described to be a black leather jacket with only the left sleeve that has a red around the cuff, however the right arm with no sleeve, and on the end of the jacket where the pockets are is a red waves pattern all around it in a going to the direction of the right, and on the back is a fully red Phoenix logo. His pants are navy blue pants with a single dark red line on each side and includes red large pouches on each thigh and calf. for his shoes that are white boots with red laces and soles. Lastly, his hands are covered in gray fingerless gloves, with his left hand ring finger wearing his golden wedding ring, and on the backhand of both gloves are green fake eyes attached to them. As the valet asked, Henry grins. "Yeah, sorry about that, I'm a busy family man, and besides, this place isn't the only casino I've been to for the last 40 years of my career," he said, but his voice now older, a little deeper and mature as he spoke. The valet shrugs. "That's fair, a celebrity like you loves to travel around the world, but regardless, we are happy you are here. However, please keep in mind we have a new manager and he's very strict when it comes to cheaters," he said with a serious tone at the last sentence, which Henry shrugs, unfazed by the warning, and head inside. Once inside the building, the cameras zoomed in on Henry's face, which Henry notices and gives a playful wink at before walking towards the casino lobby. As he made it to one of the casino lottery machines, which this version is a modern digital machine, as Henry scoffs. "Modern technology, do you guys think that will be immune against me?" he thought as he sat down on the stool in front of the machine, and without anybody looking he drops a small sample of his blood on the machine to activate blood telekinesis. As over the years he improved his skills, and especially with modern technology becoming more difficult, Henry learned to hack into things using blood telekinesis. So when he inserted $100 in cash into the machine as the lottery spins, he used blood telekinesis to hack the machine, which it glitched out just barely so nobody notices as it lands on $1 million, which made Henry grin as the machine deposits 1,000 dark red chips, making Henry grin wider as he grabs a brown sack from his pocket and put all the chips inside them. 40 years and I am still the god of gambling. Nice try, but the money is mine, he thought as he got up from his stool and chuckles. "Let's keep going, my fun of ruining gamblers have just begun," he said as he walks away and continue playing, cheating on every game with his powers as he usually does, which catch the attention of the manager as he keeps looking at the camera facing Henry as Henry keeps winning and pissing the customers off as he smirks. "So you want to ruin my casino, huh? Let's see how you like it when I'm watching you," he said with a grin as he twirls a few chips in between his fingertips. As Henry continues his gambling, and thanks to his powers he wins about all of them, as his sack carries about 5 million's worth of chips as he approaches the roulette wheel, as the female worker by the table smirks. "I see your reputation in this casino didn't do you justice, Mr. Bloody Phoenix. That was some interesting winning streak you got," she complimented, which Henry kicks his feet up and smirks. "Yep, glad to see this old brain still got it," he said as the female worker looks around the casino to see a lot of customers rage quit and storm out of the casino, and sighs, saying, "Yes, but please sir, next time go more easier on us, your cockiness has made us lose customers." Henry looks around, giving a guilty cringe face. "Oops, okay, I might have gotten overboard." "Indeed you have, Mr. Phoenix," a random male raspy voice calls out as Henry looks over his shoulder to see a short man roughly 4 foot wearing a black suit with gold money signs all over the design, white button-up shirt and a yellow tie. Their hair is slicked back with a letter M-shaped hairline. Their eyes are yellow with black money signs, which Henry finds suspicious but shrugs it off as the last thing about him is a mustache that's connected and twirls on each end. The female worker flinches. "Oh, Mr. Harutaka, what are you doing here?" she asked in shock as Mr. Harutaka waves dismissively. "I'm just here to talk to Mr. Phoenix here as he catched my interests." Henry scoffs. "Sorry pal, I am married, thank you." Mr. Harutaka veins bulge from his head of lack of patience. "Not that kind of interest, you moron." He looked at the female worker. "Dear, would you mind helping your co-workers at the prize wheel? It's kinda broken." The female worker nod at his boss and walk away while Mr. Harutaka approaches Henry. "You cause me a lot of customers to leave the casino, which means you cost me a lot of money not getting from these losers." Henry raised an eyebrow. Geez, is that really the problem? Never happened to me before, but whatever then, I'll just leave, he said, putting his feet down, but Mr. Harutaka puts a hand up. Not without paying the price, Bloody Phoenix, he said, trying to sound intimidating, but from Henry's face he fails to do so and signs. How about a little deal, young man? Henry chuckles. Young? I am flattered that I am still this sexy despite my age, but all right, what's the offer? Mr. Harutaka grins from ear to ear as he says, one game of roulette wheel, and if I win I take all the money you won while you been here and be banned forever, and if you win you can walk away with the money you earned. How does that sound? Henry stroked his chin, thinking as he activates blood vision, and Mr. Harutaka is highlighted yellow. Ah, I thought a demon and a greedy one. He deactivates blood vision and nods. Sure, why not, you're on. This made Mr. Harutaka drool of the money he could win. You're on, birdie, he taunted as he grabs a stool. Drag it next to the roulette wheel and climb up to stand on the stool in front of the roulette wheel. What's your bet, foolish boy? He asked mockingly as Henry notices a green ball from Mr. Harutaka's pockets he replaced with the original roulette wheel ball, but Henry notices it also has dark green markings on it as he thought. A man risking this much is going go cheat. Well, this should be a fun reaction, he thought as Henry puts a finger on the red spot. I bet on red, he said as he kicks his feet up, making Mr. Harutaka chuckle. What a fool with the gambling ball I created, it will land on whatever I want it to go to, he thought as he declares. Well then, I'll bet on black then, LT the best being win, he said as his free hand spins the roulette wheel while Henry with his hands under his desk summons a small blood ball and flicks it, causing it to flew into the wheel and landed on the gambling ball as Mr. Harutaka rolls the gambling ball into the wheel, causing it to spin around as Mr. Harutaka glue his eyes wide at the wheel, making Henry roll his eyes. How pathetic, he commented, but Mr. Harutaka too busy on the wheel as the ball goes down, ready to touch black number 38 inches. Yes, 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 touch it, he chanted in his head, and as it was about to touch it, Henry flicks his finger and with blood telekinesis on the gambling ball it landed on red 25, making Mr. Harutaka's eyes look in horror. No, he whispered before slamming his fist at the table and roared. No, you cheater. Henry chuckles. Nope, Lady Luck loves me so much she's jealous of my wife. Mr. Harutaka glares daggers at Henry as in the distance in a room a security guard with a sniper takes aim and fires a bullet at Henry's head, but Henry uses his newer skill blood material, which is an ability to change his blood from a solid to a liquid or gas, so as the bullet was about to hit Henry, Henry turns into his blood form, but the blood change into fully solid blood, causing the bullet to hit his head, but it reflected and hits a nearby wall near a female customer at a lottery machine, causing her to scream, "Aw, somebody shot a bullet." She screamed, causing everyone to scream, and ran to the exit, making Mr. Harutaka growl in rage. Damn, what a sore loser, Henry commented casually as he transforms back to normal and stands while putting his brown sack full of 5 million's worth of chips into his pocket. Well, it's been fun, but next time you shouldn't bet against the best, he said mockingly as he walks away, but Mr. Harutaka's eye twitched as he growls. That money belongs to me, he says with venom as he snaps his fingers, causing his security to charge in from their hiding spots and surrounded Henry with their assault rifles aimed at him. Henry uses his blood vision and sees they're all highlighted yellow. Demons in human disguises, now that's a crowd, he thought before turning his blood vision off as Mr. Harutaka roars. Nobody escapes, $5 million on my watch, not ever men kill the bird. As the security guard's ready to pull the trigger, Henry summons a blood ball above his palm and smirks. All right, so you all want to go home, fine then, I'll send you home, tell the devil I said hi, he taunted as he threw the blood ball at the floor as by impact the blood ball exploded, activating blood material, causing the blood ball to change into red gas, and Henry in an instant change its density into thick red smoke, consuming the area as Mr. Harutaka coughs while covering his mouth but roars, "Open fire!" As the security guards open fire despite the smoke, Henry unfazed dodge around the bullets like an acrobat, doing splits and dance dodging as he taunts, "Hey guys, aim slightly to the right," he said, which some of them did, causing the bullets to not even be near him as he laughs at them. "Ha ha ha, these idiots fallen for it," he commented as he grabs one of his revolvers and charged towards the guards to start breaking their bones one by one until he finishes them off by shooting them in the hearts, sending them back to hell. Soon the smoke clears, leaving 2 security guards left as 10 security guards are slowly turning to ash, shocking the 2 remaining security guards and Mr. Harutaka. "Ah, how lame, you didn't even hit the target, I want a refund," a voice said, causing the 2 guards to turn and aim their guns at Henry, who has his gun away but leaning against a pillar with one foot on it while his hands are behind his head in a relaxing gesture, and lastly a blood stick on his mouth while the tip of it is on red fire so it looks like Henry is smoking. As the 2 remaining security guards were about to shoot Henry with his left hand fires a quick draw and shoots them both in the heart with his revolver while approaching them, causing the guards to fall on top of each other. Henry flicks the blood stick that is pretending to be a cigarette at the 2 dead security guards, setting them ablaze. "Ah, what a nice campfire," he quipped while putting his revolver away and turned his right arm into a right arm minigun. As he was about to aim at Mr. Harutaka, a giant fist covered in black scales sucker punched him in the face, sending Henry flying out of the building and across New York to land on the wall of the top of the Empire State Building. While Henry's right arm transforms back to normal as he regains consciousness, he shakes his head. "Damn, looks like I pissed Mr. Harutaka off, oh well," he said with a smirk as he grabs his black wireless earbuds case out from his pocket and opens it. Once opened, he put both earbuds on his ears while turning the Bluetooth on and putting the earbud case away. Once connected, he pulls out his smartphone, which he sold his flip phone years ago to catch up on the time period. The phone has a red chase with an orange phoenix design on it as he puts on a music app and plays some rock music he can jam to. Once done, he puts his phone away and grins. "Wanna dance? Let's dance," he said as he puts both feet on the wall and launches himself off the building, gliding down to the ground. While falling, he used his newer ability Blood Transformation, which is similar to his Bloody Phoenix form, but he turns into his blood form first and then he can shapeshift into whatever he wants made of his own blood. So while falling, he activates Blood Transformation, turning into his blood form and change shape into a blood cheetah with blood tendrils coming out of its back shaped as blood katanas. Once landed on the street, he dashes away towards the casino, dodging traffic and shocking nearby people who are walking on the streets as they take their phones out to record or take photos of their global anti-hero. As Henry dashed, he sees Mr. Harutaka destroying the casino roof and climb on top of it, revealing his true demonic form. Looks like someone was overcomplicating earlier. He equipped as Mr. Harutaka's demon form as a giant demon covered in black scales with 4 arms, a tail made of golden chains, golden sharp fingernails. His 2 eyes are larger as there's no white, just fully yellow with black dollar signs as pupils, sharp teeth made of gold, and the most unique part of him was the 3 lottery wheel all across his stomach. As Mr. Harutaka notices Henry's, he roars, "You ruined everything, Bloody Phoenix, I won't let you keep me away from my money." he declared as the lottery wheel on his stomach spins until all three lands on yellow human shapes, making Mr. Harutaka chuckle darkly as he snaps his fingers, and 50 samurais made of gold with angel wings spawn besides their creator as Mr. Harutaka points at Henry, so the army flies straight at Henry, which Henry didn't hesitate but keep dashing in all fours as the army gets close. The blood katana tendrils do their job protecting Henry and cuts their heads off as Henry gets past them until none of them are left, annoying Mr. Harutaka. As Henry got close to the casino building, he transformed into red gas smoke flying upwards while Mr. Harutaka used his stomach again as the lottery wheel landed on 3 metal cubes. As Henry landed on the ground transforming back to normal, he sees metal spikes diving towards him, so Henry dodges them without taking a step. "Whoa, easy big guy, I just got here," he said with a cocky grin which caused a vein to bulge form on Mr. Harutaka's head. "Arg, shut up," he roared as he used metal telekinesis to lift the metal shards off the ground ready to cut Henry, but Henry used blood transformation and transformed into a blood-long snake and slither with super speed, getting close to Mr. Harutaka while dodging metal spikes. Once he got close, his tail grabs onto Mr. Harutaka's right leg and expands his entire body to wrap all the way around Mr. Harutaka's, trapping his body, making Mr. Harutaka growl angrily. But Henry used another of his new abilities, which is an addition to his blood temperature ability, as he combines the heat and cold in his blood to mix them to make red electricity spark around Henry, which he used but caused a chain reaction electrocuting Mr. Harutaka, making the demon roar in pain from the electrocution. "I know my skills are so amazing, it's a shocker of how spectacular I am," he quipped, which Mr. Harutaka gritted his teeth and was able to use his stomach again, and this time it landed on snowflakes, allowing Mr. Harutaka to summon ice spikes out of his body, which made Henry let go of him from the pain. Now free, Mr. Harutaka was going to grab Henry, but Henry turned back to normal and dodged the giant hand and landed back on the ground and stand back up. "Oops, somebody didn't like the shock therapy," he quipped as he sees Mr. Harutaka's eye witched, so Henry shrugged while snapping his fingers, summoning 50 blood minions as the minions change shape into tiny goblin jesters as they dance around ready to annoy their target, as Henry slow clapped to get Mr. Harutaka's attention. "Alright, let's play a little game, catch the real jester," he said as he used blood transformation to transform into a goblin jester as they scatter around laughing and insulting Mr. Harutaka like children. "Haha, you're so fat that nobody will let you enter their birthday party," one jester said. "Oh, you call that an insult, dear brother? How about this? Hey demon, you're so ugly that even if you get a girlfriend she wouldn't even let you touch them even if you pay them," another jester said. "Oh boy, that's quite dirty of you to say, dear brother," another jester said as he gives Mr. Harutaka the middle finger with both hands, and the insults keep going as Mr. Harutaka now glare daggers punches his own chest, causing the lottery wheels on his stomach to spin, and it landed on flames, making the Harutaka grin evilly. "Let's see if you laugh after this," he said as he summoned 2 golden wands on each hand, and fire comes out of them, burning the blood goblin jesters, but the minions just regenerate out of thin air. As Mr. Harutaka burns the minions, Henry, still blending in among his minions, gets behind Mr. Harutaka and transforms back to normal while his right arm turns into a giant blood arm blade which became the size of the giant demon's entire torso and set on red fire. When Mr. Harutaka feels heat behind him, but as he turns behind him he only hears Henry roar, "Let's see if I hit the jackpot." As he said that, he spins and used the flaming giant blood arm blade to cut across Mr. Harutaka's stomach. Right across his lottery wheels ended up facing away from him in a dramatic pose as Mr. Harutaka's eyes widened, but he slowly looked down and gold coins instead of blood burst out of his stomach like a fountain as he roared, "McKnight, I'll kill you for that," he said before his upper half falls to the ground stomach first, while Henry smirks as his right arm turns back to normal. "Looks like I did," he said as he summons a blood boomerang and throw it, casing it curve and land inside the stomach wound and setting it on red fire, preventing the demon from regenerating as he roars in pain, while the blood goblin jesters use this opportunity and summon blood chainsaws and charge. Once they got close, they cut away at Mr. Harutaka's upper body, causing him to scream more in pain loud enough the whole district can hear it, scaring the people. But Henry rolls his eyes as he summons a blood shuriken and land it on Mr. Harutaka's upper lip and change chap to wrap around Mr. Harutaka's mouth, silencing his screams. Henry puts a finger on his lips. "Shush, children are trying to sleep," he said as he approaches his back while twirling one of his revolvers. Once he arrived on Mr. Harutaka's back, he fired all 10 bullets into Mr. Harutaka's back, landing on his heart, every shot causing Mr. Harutaka's eyes widen and the blood goblin jesters to disappear. "No, no, no, my money, no, no, stupid damn McKnight," he roared in his head as his upper body and lower body turned to ash, causing Henry to fall a few feet back on the ground of the now destroyed but empty rooftop. He puts his revolver away and sighs of relief but annoyed. "Great, now I gotta find another casino to deposit these chips before going home, so annoying," he said while walking towards the ledge and jumping off the roof casually. Chapter 32: The Bloody Phoenix Family. The next day, on a Saturday afternoon, Hank McKnight was slowly walking from a nearby forest to a peaceful field in Virginia where there's a one-floor house in the area. This place is the McKnight homestead. As he approached, he looked to see the place also includes a big shed and a 4-door garage next to the shed, with a driveway from the garage to the main road. In the backyard there's a playground perfect for any age. A fence all around the backyard, with the center as a 50-feet ground pool with a big hot tub next to it. Inside the house are separate bedrooms for 4 people, with each having their own private bathrooms. There's a storage room for equipment or life-related stuff, one master bedroom that has its own private bathroom at the end of the hall. Next to it there's a workshop room. Next to the entrance is a big nice kitchen with a dining room table next to the room. Also next to the kitchen is the living room, where the main place is, and the front and back door is located. As Hank approaches the house, he sees a familiar young 10-year-old girl practicing her swings with a sword, which made Hank smile with pride. As this girl is his little sister Aurora McKnight, the daughter of Henry McKnight. The girl's appearance is white skin with bright red short hair that goes down to her chin with blonde streaks. Her eyes are shiny red as rubies. For her outfit, top is a white t-shirt with a red leather jacket that has a black phoenix logo clinging to her right shoulder as a design. Over it is a brown one-arm strapped purse with an engraving of a yellow glowing portal showing it's enchanted within pocket dimension made by her mother so she can carry her items. On both her hands are black leather fingerless gloves with spikes on her knuckles. For her bottoms she's wearing white leggings with a black skirt. On her right thigh is a quiver attached to her leg, which is black with cyan lines across the top and bottom, and in the center is an engraving of a cyan blue snowflake as it's another enchantment causing unlimited ice arrows to appear on her quiver. Around her torso is a normal black bow she uses. Her boots are black with red laces and soles. What caught Hank's attention is the sword she's carrying, as it's a real katana, but he got the feeling it's not just a normal katana. As Aurora hears Hank's footsteps, she turns to his direction and gives a big smile. "Big brother." she called as she ran towards him and giving him a tight hug which made Hank chuckle and hug her back. "Hey baby sis, what are you doing outside?" he asked while breaking the hug as Aurora smirks. "Training, I wanted to get better fighting with my new sword." This made Hank cross his arms with a raised eyebrow. "Without supervision that's dangerous, you know." Aurora shrugged. "Mom is inside watching me while she make her own coffee, so it's fine." Hank looked down to Aurora's katana. "Nice sword," he complimented, which made Aurora grin and hand him her sword. "Take a look, it's not a normal katana," she said in excitement. As Hank looked at the katana, he noticed something special about it. As he takes a look at the grip itself, it's dark cyan color with a golden guard that has a phoenix engravement on the blade itself. What made him confused is the tube of her blood that's in the blade where the guard is. "Huh, strange," he murmured. Catching her big brother's confusion made her grin wider. "Well, you know how when I use my create and summon magical monsters magic, I can't use the abilities the monsters give me until I summon them. Well, I asked Mom to make me this sword so now I can use my magic the monsters have without needing to summon them," she explained, which made Hank smirk. "Impressive, I see you inherit Dad's battle ideas," he said as he gave the sword back to Aurora. As Aurora asked, "Hey Hank, what's up? Why do you think our magic is so limited? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my magic," she said as she summoned a black cat with glowing cyan outline that appeared on her left shoulder. "I mean, look at this cat, they can turn invisible while the rest of my creatures do different kinda magic, but I can't do it myself like Mom." This made Hank cross his arms and look up. "I think it's because our mixed heritage. I mean, we're part witch thanks to Mom, part blood goddess alien, and part human thanks to Dad, including inheriting alien sanity according to Dad. My theory is because if that combination, our bodies can't handle too much magic, so we're born with specific magic God makes us use. Like for me is my purple slime manipulation magic, while you have your create and summon magical monsters." Aurora nodded while taking a deep breath, feeling disappointed. "I guess that makes sense." Hank booped her nose, making Aurora pout of annoyance as he chuckled. "Cheer up, just keep training and one day you'll be a great fighter like me, Mom and Dad." Hearing those words made Aurora smile as she regrew her confidence and clenched the sword handle with both hands while giving Hank a determined look. "Wanna test it out? I haven't tried it in a spar yet." Hank stroked his chin as he was about to speak, but he heard someone teleport behind him. "Well, look who decided to visit us," a familiar mature older woman said, so Hank looked over his shoulder to see his own mother, Rose McKnight, sipping coffee. Thanks to her own copy of the anti-immortality necklace, she was also aging like Henry, but still 5 feet and 4 inches and now 40 years old, but still beautiful as always. Outfit is different as she is wearing white button-up shirt with her sleeves down and a few buttons off to show cleavage, and the anti-immortality necklace around her neck. Over her shirt is a dark red trench coat with gold accents, golden buttons, and on the back is a golden rose logo. The coat has golden shoulder pads with black rose symbols, as well as a long collar sticking upwards and the sleeves torn to the elbows, showing her shirt sleeves under it. Around her hips is a long black and red plaid skirt that goes just below her knees, white legging under the skirt with black leather high heel boots that go high enough to cover her calves but has red soles and laces. Her hair still red but tied up to a ponytail which exposes her Bloody Phoenix tattoo on the back of her neck. Her glasses are now flip-up glasses with extra lenses attached to it, which are sunglasses lenses. Her eyes are still blue as sapphire. Freckles, and lastly on her right hand ring finger is a wedding ring on it. Upon seeing his mother, Hank turned to Rose. "Hello mother, love the craftsmanship you give Aurora." Rose chuckled as he approached Hank. "Well, your baby sister got sick of using a wooden sword and the idea she came up with her magic, I thought it could be useful to her." she said as she kissed Hank on the cheek. So what brings you home? Hank shrugged. I gotten free time after my last job and I'll be taking another gig outside of the country for a little bit. Figured I should visit before I go to Brazil. This made Rose raise an eyebrow and smirked. My baby boy already traveling the world, you're making me feel old just by thinking about it. This made Hank chuckle. Ah well, it happens when you have children that isn't older than 2 generations. This made Rose glare at him. Watch it, Hank. I may be old but I am still an experienced mercenary like your father and can kick your butt easily, she warned, making Hank shiver in fear while Aurora giggled, covering her mouth with one hand to hide her laughter. Deciding to change the topic before he starts a fight with his mother, Hank decided to ask, so where's Dad? He should be here by now. Rose sipped her coffee before answering. He's going to visit your Grandpa Marcus and Grandma Amy as it's their anniversary of their death, and since Aurora is home I decided to keep an eye on her while he's away. This made Hank saddened by the thought if it. Oh, I see, maybe I should visit as well. Rose shrugged. Go ahead, but do that when your father isn't there. He likes to be alone during that time of the year. Hank nods in understanding while Aurora points her sword at Hank. Come on, let's not get any more sad, spar with me, she demanded, which catched Hank and Rose's attention, but Hank grins while transforming his guitar to battle axe mode, walking towards Aurora. Alright, but it'll go easy on you, he warned while Rose sips her coffee but notices her coffee mug is empty, making her frown. Damn it, I should have gotten a bigger cup. She decided to get more coffee as she walked towards the house. Meanwhile in Philadelphia, a high-speed armored truck full of cash is driving away while the 3 thugs cheer in excitement. Oh boy, I'm so glad that worked, said the thug in the trunk protecting the cash. Who knew those tired were not immune to spikes? They could have thought of that, said the passenger thug. Yeah, well, keep your mouth shut so they don't get any ideas in the future. Let's just find a way to lose the cops, said the driver thug, making the other 2 thugs nod. Meanwhile, as that's going on a nearby skyscraper, a red custom 2-seated vintage chopper motorcycle teleported, driving upwards on the windows of the skyscraper. The bike has 3 long exhausts that goes all the way back past the rear wheel. On the back of the bike has a trunk for carrying a decent amount of objects, and on the side of the bike a Black Phoenix logo is on the red. Lastly, the entire bike is covered in red glowing engravings showing magical effect it has. The person who's riding the bike is none other than the Bloody Phoenix himself, Henry McKnight. As Henry drives up the building, he grins as he pushes a button on the bike's handles so flames comes out of the exhaust and uses thrusters as Henry does a wheelie, driving until he up past the roof like the building was a ramp, and while in the sky he turns into his Bloody Phoenix form, grabbing the bike by his talons and fly towards the armored vehicle. The thug in the trunk's eyes widened. We got a bird problem, he yelled, making the passenger grab her high-tech railgun and stick her head out while aiming. Die, Phoenix, she yelled before firing a blast at Henry, which Henry barely managed to dodge. So that's a railgun. How interesting. He threw his bike while he dashed towards his bike, then turns back into his human form, then gets on his bike before the bike lands on the street, and then he drives off. Damn, I hate it when he's a show-off, said the thug in the trunk, but the passenger keeps firing her railgun at him, causing Henry to keep driving away from the railgun. Miss me now, my wife gotta kiss me, ha 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 ha. He grabs a device from his pocket called the Blood Phoenix bike remote, which the design has engravings on the top says Blood Phoenix bike, which that's what he calls his new bike. The device has a blue button and a red rocker on-off switch, which is currently off. He flicks the switch. Auto drive activated. said the voice from the bike. So Henry grins and stands up on the seat like the bike was a surfboard, making the two thugs raised an eyebrow. "I am coming in, boys," announced Henry as he used one of his new ability called Blood Electric Teleportation ability, which is an upgraded version of his Blood Teleportation ability. However, he combines it with Blood Material, Blood Telekinesis, and Blood Temperature Electric. Henry can summon a solid electric blood shuriken, which is a three-bladed shuriken made of solid blood and covered in red electricity. Anyway, this version is more powerful as he can throw the shuriken to wherever he wants thanks to him controlling its direction with blood telekinesis, but once the shuriken makes contact with something he instantly teleports to the shuriken's location before the shuriken disappears. Anyway, Henry throws a solid electric blood shuriken at the inside of the truck, instantly teleported inside of it. "Nice and cozy in here," said Henry while grabbing the back of the head of the thug that is in the trunk and slams his head on the ground, knocking him out. While that's happening, Henry uses body control to control the driver's blood, so to control his body to force him to stop the vehicle. "What are you doing, idiot?" yelled the passenger as the vehicle stopped moving. "I can't control my body," said the driver while a blood tendril wraps around the driver's throat until he's passed out, making the passenger's eyes widen while the tendril retreated. "Don't worry, he'll live," said Henry while ripping the passenger's doors open, dropping it to the ground. Out of instinct, she grabs her railgun and aims it at Henry, but Henry uses a blood tendril to snatch the gun away, slamming it to the ground, destroying it. Whisper the thug, but Henry kicked her forehead so hard she ended up knocked out. Henry smirked while walking away from the vehicle, and cops arrive at the area while the crowd applauds for Henry while the cops take the thugs, while one walks up to Henry with a salute. "We can take care of everything, Bloody Phoenix," said an officer, which Henry nodded to them. His Blood Phoenix bike drove and ended up behind Henry, so Henry gets on his bike and drives off. He eventually parks near the cemetery. He takes a deep breath and gets off. "I should pay someone else a visit before I talk to them," said Henry in his head as he starts walking towards the church and enters the church. The nun from many years ago recognized him and approached him. "Young man, have we met?" the nun asks, making Henry nod. "Yeah. It was a long time ago, but now it's different," said Henry, making the nun smile. "What brings you here, my child?" asked the nun. "I've come to speak with God," Henry said with a whisper, but the nun heard it and nodded in understanding. "I understand the Lord is always willing to talk to his children. Please sit down and say what you have to say. I can't stay as I got work to do, but thank you for coming here," said the nun while walking away. Henry sighed and walked towards the front row seat where he can see the statue he shot years ago, but it's now fixed like the bullet holes never happened. Henry smirked seeing it. How nostalgic, he thought before sitting down on a chair and stares at the statue while crossing his arms. "I know you can hear me, Chris, despite the fact you're not physically here, but I guess that's the point of religion. Hee. I never thought I would be religious, but here we are. How long has it been since we last spoke? Maybe 40 years or so. Damn, if that was the case, I gotta be in what, my 60s. Haha, time flies fast with me," he chuckled before shaking his head. "Anyway, I actually came here to apologize and also wanted to thank you for everything. At first I hated your guts, even if you have those, because of the crap you put me through, but then you give me a gift to protect others and families, which it took me years to accept them as part of me. But that's not all. You saved Rose. I honestly don't know if you're responsible for the creation of the blood goddess and her abilities. Oh wait, you probably did in your own twisted reasons, but because of that, Rose came back to my life and I got what I always wanted: a family, a home, a life I wanted since I lost my mother and father. So thank you for that. You made me feel with hope again. Let's make it stay that way this time though. Hee. he said with a giggle as Chris aka God itself appear behind him with his arms crossed with a proud smile and says, "You gotten wiser over the years, haven't you, Mr. Rebellious Brat?" Henry shrugs, not even looking at Chris. "Maybe I have, but I know this, I am letting go of my grudge against you or the gods. Having that kinda hatred became pointless at this point." Chris chuckles to that and quipped, "Glad we have a new follower to my religion." Henry rolls his eyes. "Before I go, can I ask, is my journey over?" "Sorry, I can't answer to, it's part of my job description, besides I can't get you all rusty if you gotten soft." Henry nods. "Fair enough," he concluded as he stands. "Then that's all I can say to you, my lord. I'll go visit my parents' graves, so keep doing what you do and don't try to piss me off again." Chris shrugged. "I'll think about it," he said with a smug look as Henry, still not looking at Chris, walks away to the front door of the church. He hesitates, look over his shoulder to finally look at Chris as Chris slowly becomes see-through as a ghost as Henry gives him a wicked grin and leaves the church heading towards Marcus and Amy's graves as Chris declared, "I'll be keeping an eye on you, Bloody Phoenix," he said as he turns into blue particles of light returning to heaven. However, Henry wasn't done as he had one last thing to do before going home, as we see him an hour later on a random elevator of an apartment complex. As the elevator goes up, he taps his foot, humming to himself while his hands are in his pants pockets. As the elevator stops and opens the door, Henry keeps walking up the stairs and open the door leading to the rooftop, where a brown-haired teenager is chilling on a bench while playing with a stack of cash with his tongue out of joy. "Ah yes, another robbery well done by me, and the cops are still too pathetic to stop me," the teenager said, stroking his ego until Henry called out, "Ethan Riley, it's been a long time coming." Hearing that, Ethan gets startled and stand up on guard. "Who are? Wait, aren't you the Bloody Phoenix?" he asked, which Henry nodded, slowly making Ethan gulp as blood tendrils comes out of his back, which didn't surprise Henry as Ethan asked, "How do you know that name? Ethan Riley been dead for 20 years. He asked, demanding an answer, but Henry smirks. "Foolish boy. It's because I was the one who killed him. Or should I say I killed you." This made Ethan's eyes widen, making his blood tendrils on alert. "No. That's not possible. Does that mean you're the one who give me a second chance? But why? Why me?" he asked in disbelief and confusion as Henry moved one of his hands off his pockets and rubbed the back of his neck. "Simple, you were a test subject. I mean, I guess you wouldn't understand since I was asleep when I killed ya first. Why well, in your previous life you were a terrorist by the UK and sentenced to execution. I learned about your actions blowing up schools and orphanages, and I decided for you to be a little guinea pig of mine," he said, making Ethan frown. "What do you mean by that?" he asks in anger. "Well, let's start from the beginning. Years ago, a being called the Blood Goddess died and turned their body into gauntlets, which one of them was destroyed years ago while the other was the green eye gauntlet I was wearing. After I got married, my wife helped me get the gauntlet off my hand, and we decided to remove it from the planet once and for all," he explained, and paused, allowing Ethan to process what he just learned as Ethan looked at his hands. "Does this means I'm a part alien?" "Yep, you are. Those powers belong to the Blood Goddess," Henry answered his question as he continued. "We couldn't destroy the gauntlet as we have to destroy the green eye on it, but it caused the previous wielder to be killed and reincarnated. Since I would rather not do that, I give it to some low-life criminal like you. Luckily for me, the pain didn't wake you up when the blood was transferred into your body. After the transfer, I destroy the green eye while you're wearing it. decaying your body to ash. This made Ethan clench his fist in anger, but not as much, knowing he was going to be executed anyways. Curious about something, he asked, "But how did you even know or find me?" That's when his eyes grew more curious as Henry pulled out his DNA compass. "You and I share the same DNA as the blood goddess, so I use my own blood on the DNA compass to track anyone alive. You have the same genetics to find you. Then I had a contact from my mercenary career to make me a drone to watch you your entire life," Henry said as he put the DNA compass away, which shocked Ethan, but he growls, summoning blood katanas on his hands. "You were spying on me." Ethan accused as Henry shrugged. "I was deciding your fate and it turns out you disappointed me. Like, come on, you joined a gang and start a gang war causing innocents to get hurt and then rob banks and stores, not to method betraying your own family for money and cheat on your girlfriend with 5 different women. You're clearly not worth sparing, so I sold the drone and went to come find you." Ethan clenched his fist on the blood katana handles, taking a step. "And then what, old man? You're gonna kill me? Sorry, but with this power you were a fool to give it to me," Ethan said as he dashed towards Henry, and once he got close he leapt and tried to swing at him, but Henry unfazed, his free hand finally out of his other locket and grab Ethan's left wrist while the other hand grabs Ethan's other wrist, shocking Ethan. "But how? I'm invincible," Henry chuckled. "You idiot, if I given you a copy of my power, did you not think I wouldn't know my own weakness? Besides, you're a pathetic copy," he said as his right hand twisted Ethan's right hand, causing him to win and leg of his blood katana, which Henry in a quick move lets go of Ethan's right wrist and grab the blood katana and stab Ethan in the heart, shocking him completely. "No." Ethan winced as Henry's let go of Ethan's left wrist while the other blood katana vanished from existence as Ethan goes limp, hanging by the blood katana in his heart. Henry takes a deep breath of relief as he lets go, causing Ethan to fall on the ground on his knees, already dead, but the blood katana shrink into a dagger but still impaling his chest while the handle expands, forming into a blood chain and wraps around Ethan's body in place forever. "With you dead, and when the day comes where me and Rose die of old age, the blood goddess and her influence will never appear in this galaxy ever again," he declared as he picked up Ethan's dead body and tossed it over his right shoulder. "Now, where shall I bury? Maybe by the lake in the nearby woods," he said, liking the idea as he walks through the roof exit door. Chapter 33, Family Gathering. Meanwhile, hours later, Hank entered the workshop room while having both his earphones in his ears, listening to music. As he listened, he made his way to the workbench and sat down while he puts one earphone out and puts it down on the table along with both his Desert Eagles and give them a good inspection. He hummed as he grabbed some firearm cleaning materials and start taking the weapons apart one by one in a neat order so he doesn't lose any parts. As he did this, he started to clean up his weapon as he whispered to himself, "Maybe it's time I should finish that project. After all, I am running out of bullets and I'm in no mood to buy any more ammo," he said to himself as he put his guns back together. Once done, he got up and went to his room, where he went to his private safe and turned the dial to open it, revealing 2 devices he's been working on for the past 1 week but got busy to not continue building them until now, with both shaped like ammo clips, but it's silver with 2 empty tubes on the bottom with the same size as the clips. He closes the saves and heads back to the workshop, where he puts the 2 silver ammo clips devices down on the table while reaching into his pocket to grab a black case that's the size of a pencil and open it to find a special pen. This pen was the same pen all wizards and witches use to make enchantments, called the enchanted quills, which is a pencil-size brush with magical black ink on the brush that nobody knows where it came from, as it was found in a tomb where the creator was buried, and since then they duplicated it with duplication magic and spread replicas including this one all over the world, as it was the only thing that makes enchantments work. So after grabbing the enchanted quill, he grabbed a book about enchantments and found a page of duplication, so by using the reverence image of a demon with two skulls on their palms, he carved it into one of the silver ammo clip devices. According to the book, the engravings show no purpose but help give the creator and mental image of the enchantment's purpose. Once done, the next step is pour a sample of witch or wizard DNA such as blood or saliva into the engraving, so Hank gently spit into the engraving, causing it to absorb the saliva, and notice his witch DNA, it caused the engraving to accept the offering and glow black. Once that's over, the final step is the creator has to whisper the enchantment's specific purpose, so Hank leaned close to the black glowing engraving and whisper, "Duplicate desert eagle-shaped bullets made out of solid purple slime that came from my power and DNA." Once he did, the engraving listened to his command and the black glow on the engraving changed from black to purple, showing it's permanently activated and complete. Once he completed the enchantment, he put the enchanted quill back in his pocket, remembering his lesson of what his father told him to keep one in his person just like he did, as his father used the same enchanted quill to make his equipment. However, unlike Hank, Henry had to use a tube full of wizard blood that he keeps in his pockets. After putting the enchanted quill away, he now fills the two test tubes that are under the silver ammo clip device, which for the top he puts a finger against it, spreading his purple slime inside the test tube. Next is the bottom test tube, causing his own blood to go inside the test tube. Once done, the engraving glows brighter as the silver ammo clip device starts being filled by purple slime bullets, but its density is decreased, so the purple slime bullets become solid as real bullets. Hank smirked at the progress, but he tested it out by putting the enchanted silver ammo clip device into one of his desert eagles like a normal clip, leaving the black square piece on the very bottom that's attached to the whole thing exposed, making it look like a normal desert eagle on the outside. With the gun secure, he takes aim and starts firing at the 5 targets in the room, causing every bullet to fire perfectly while the purple slime shells exit the chambers, but as soon as they make contact with something they just turn into purple particles before fading away. As Hank kept firing, Hank eventually stopped pulling the trigger and realized the bullets keep getting refilled by the magic every time he fired, realizing he found a way to create unlimited bullets, making him grin. "Now that's going to be useful," he commented. With some joy of his project working, he quickly did the same process for the other silver ammo clip device, making it into another enchanted silver ammo clip device for his other desert eagle. After all that was done, he put everything back where he found them, and his smartphone was going off, so he picked it up, realizing it's a video from Ray. So he sat down and answered the call, seeing Ray sitting on her desk chair searching on her bag. "What's up?" Hank asked in curiosity, but Ray shrugged, still searching until she grabbed a folder. "I got bored and I wanted to do homework with your company," she said, making Hank just chuckle. "Aren't I honored? Well, go ahead, I'll be here if you need anything," he said as he stand and walk out of the room, leaving one of his earphones behind. He heads to the living room, seeing Aurora with her shoes off and legs crossed is playing her video games, so he decided to sit next to her while Aurora, too focused on her game, ignores him. Once he got comfortable, he put the phone stand from his phone case out and set the phone on the coffee table while getting his guitar out to play with it, practicing some singing for his next song. Ray was doing her homework, her eyes widened in realization as she looked at Hank. "Oh Hank, I completely forgot something I was going to tell you before the cheerleader problem happened." This made Hank look at Ray with an raised eyebrow. What is it? Well, I just heard Party Z will be in America tomorrow for her concert and I already bought 2 tickets for her show and I hope my best friend would like to join me, she said, holding the tickets with a hopeful grin which made Hank think about it for a little bit as he looked at her. That depends what time. Around 8 at night, she replied, making Hank shrug. Sure, why not, I just have to make sure I finish my Brazil job early. This made Ray raise an eyebrow. Brazil, huh, that sounds like a party. This made Aurora pause her video game and asked, Hey Ray, since he's going to Brazil, do you want to join us for dinner before he leaves? This made Hank glare at his sister. It's only for a day, I'm not staying there for a vacation. This made Aurora cross her arms. You don't know that, Lord knows what will happen while you're there. Hank just rolls his eyes while Ray giggles at their antics. Sure, my parents are going out tonight anyways, but Hank has to pick me up, she said with a devilish smirk. This made Hank lean his head back and sigh of annoyance. Aurora notices one of his earphones is missing, so she calls out, Hey Hank. He looked at his sister. Yeah, you're missing an earphone. This made Hank realizes it and groan. Dang it, I'll call you later Ray, I have to head back to the workshop before I lose and forget my earphone, he said, ending the call, heading back to the workshop. Meanwhile, outside the house, Henry's Phoenix bike teleports by the driveway as he drives towards the garage. Once he enters it, he gets off his bike and head inside his home. Upon opening the door, this catches everyone's attention, including Aurora, who grins with joy as she sees who it is, so she gets off the couch and jumps for a hug. Dad, she yelled, making Henry laugh from the hug. Hee, there's my princess, he said, giving Aurora a kiss on the cheek, making her giggle as he put her down while Rose approached with a pout. I thought I was always your princess, honey, she said, but Henry pulls her to a kiss on the lips. You're my queen, silly. Rose gives him a sexy growl in joy of that response. Henry looks at Aurora with his hands on his hips. How was your day, my little flower? He asked, which made Aurora smirk with pride. It was great, Mom, and I made a katana for my magic and I did some training with it. This made Henry raise an eyebrow of interest. Did you now? Well, I look forward to seeing it in action, he said with a wide grin, which Aurora did the same, making Rose giggle of how similar they are as she speak up. Dinner will be ready within an hour, she said as she goes to sit down in the living room couch, so Henry followed, sitting next to her while Aurora sits on the opposite side of Henry, laying her head on his shoulder, closing her eyes while Henry caressing her hair, which easily made Aurora yawn. He's such a sleepy girl. Anything else I missed? He asked Rose, which Rose leaned back on the couch. Hank's in the house, she said, making Henry raise an eyebrow. Where's Hank then? He asked. He's at the workshop, I think he left something there, she said in an unsure tone, but Henry nods while Hank approaches the couch and leans over to hug Henry from behind. Hey Dad, said Hank, making Henry chuckle. Speak of the devil, he said while ruffling his hair, making him flustered. Hey, stop that, Dad, it's not easy getting this hairstyle perfected, said Hank while backing away, fixing his slick back hair, making Rose giggle. Weren't you talking to Ray about her visiting us for dinner? She asked, which Hank nodded to his mother's question. She agreed and is currently getting ready. I should go pick her up soon. Henry nods and tosses him the Bloody Phoenix bike keys. Here, take it, you remember how to use it, right? Hank nodded. Yep, turn on the engine and think of whatever I want to go and it will teleport me there, Henry noted. Good, just don't land it in her car. Hank pouts, crossing his arms. I'm not reckless unlike you, Henry chuckles. Fair enough, now get going before you take so long. Ray gets a girlfriend before you, he said, getting a blush out of Hank while he walks away. Shut up, Dad, he yelled while Henry laughing at him. You tease him too much. Oh, like you don't do the same to me, or should I remind you about when we met, huh? Rose pouts. No comment. Henry chuckles and wrap an arm around her and pull her to him, resting her head on his other shoulder while closing her eyes. After an hour later, Henry is still sleeping with Aurora sleeping next to her father while Rose is finishing up dinner at the kitchen. Hank and Ray entered the house, making Rose exit the kitchen to greet them. Glad you could join us, Ray. Please make yourself comfortable, said Rose, making Ray nod. Thank you for having me, Rose, said Ray while she goes to sit next to Henry and Aurora. Hank pats Henry's head. Hey old man, time to get up. Henry slowly opens his eyes, stretching with a yawn, waking Aurora up. I'm not old, shut up, said Henry, making Ray chuckle while Aurora looks at Ray. Ray, you're here, said Aurora while bouncing in excitement, making Ray smile. Indeed I am here to join you for dinner. Yay! Yelled Aurora while getting off the couch and hugged Ray, which she accepted with the hug. Dinner's ready, everyone, said Rose, making Hank, Ray and Aurora nod and get up to head to the dining table while Henry, being lazy, slumps on the couch, making Rose approach him from behind the couch, caressing his hair. Same goes for you, dear husband, said Rose with a smile, making Henry pout. But I don't want to. Can't I eat it at the couch? Rose giggle and whisper in his ear. If you're that lazy, maybe think of retirement, hee. Henry shakes his head and stands up. Never, I'll get bored and you know I hate that, said Henry with a pout and his hands on his hips, making Rose giggle with amusement. Really now, after sending about 1,000 blood minion vigilantes in each country, I thought you were already preparing for that, but I guess I was wrong, she teased, but takes his hand. All right, come on before the food gets cold, said Rose, dragging him to the dining table so they all sit down and catch up on their recent activity. Aurora looks at her tattoo and looks at Rose. Mom, why do we have these tattoos? She asked, making Rose raising an eyebrow. I admit I was curious about the tattoos, but I didn't want to bother you guys by asking, commented Ray, but Rose shakes her head. Not all you see, it's actually a magic seal, Rose explained while Henry grabs a ink bottle from his pouch and showed it to them, but instead of ink is red glowing liquid with the bottle saying, "The Bloody Phoenix Tattoo Ink. This is a custom magic formula that I made, so when I put it on is to shape it like a bloody phoenix, and after an hour it permanently stayed on the person's skin like a tattoo, but instead a needle, I just use a brush," explained Rose, making Aurora's eyes sparkle in amazement. What do they do? They do a lot of things that we come up with based on our experiences. It gives the person different abilities such as regeneration for the person's body and the clothes they wear. However, they can only die of old age, immune to mind control and mind readers, immune to illnesses, and lastly immune to going to hell when they die. Henry also added, however, it doesn't make them immune to drugs or alcohol, so be careful, kids, he warned, but this revelation made Aurora and Ray's eyes widened in amazement. Wait, isn't it dangerous if anybody else gets their hands on it? Asked Ray, but Rose shakes their head. Oh, don't worry about that, I even added a curse on it, as the tattoo will detect if they're part of the Bloody Phoenix bloodline or not. If they are, they keep the tattoo. If not, the tattoo will just be erased. I'm the only exception since I created the formula, explained Rose, making Ray sigh of relief. They finish eating and hours pass, so during this time Hank dropped Ray back to her home, then returned to head to bed. Meanwhile, Henry enters Aurora's room with Aurora in his arms, a little sleepy, while Henry carries her, rubbing her back in circles while Aurora yawns in a very adorable way. There, princess, time for bed, said Henry as he puts Aurora on her bed while putting her jacket, bow and quiver down on the table. Once done, he pulled the blanket over her, making Aurora smile. Dad, can you stay here longer until I go to sleep? I want to feel your comfort when I sleep. Hearing Aurora's request makes Henry smile that he can almost shed a tear of joy. Of course, sweetie. Aurora turns away from him so Henry can play with her hair with his left hand while she holds her favorite Phoenix plushie because it reminded her of her dad. That's comforting her until she slowly closes her eyes. There you go, sweetie, it's okay, your father is right here and I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here to protect you always, said Henry, making her Aurora's smile widen. I love you, Dad, said Aurora as she goes to sleep, making Henry smile, shedding a single tear, then kiss her forehead. I love you too, my little flower, he said while slowly standing back up and leaving the room. With Rose, she's relaxing while in her black bikini, relaxing in the hot tub while staring at the stars. Luckily the backyard has lights all over to be able to walk on. Henry eventually comes out of the back door in his red swim trunks, leaving his muscles exposed and his Bloody Phoenix tattoo revealed on his right shoulder. He approaches the hot tub while Rose notices him, giving him a smile. Hello there, my knight, care to join your queen, darling? Henry chuckles and gets in the hot tub so Rose scoots to rest her head on his chest while they both look at the sky, seeing the stars. So how did your visit with your parents went? Asked Rose. It went good, very good. I talked to God. This made Rose raise an eyebrow. Since when did you go to church? She asked with a smirk. It was only for today, I thought might as well while I was here. Rose nods. Okay, what did you tell them? Henry smiled. I told them I forgive them, not just them, everything that got in our way. This made Rose smile. Did God say anything? She asked, but Henry nodded. He said don't get lazy despite having a peaceful life, he said, making Rose giggle and climb on his lap and cup his cheek. I am so proud of you, Henry. We've been through so much, but despite that you always fought back for yourself first, for our family. I could never ask for a better husband than you, said Rose, making Henry smile and pull her to a kiss. They both stayed like this while enjoying the night sky. Chapter 34, Brazil Job. The next early morning, Henry is outside of the house, kneeling beside one of the black pillars that surrounds the entire land and house. The black pillars have red eye-shaped runes on top. As he checks on it, he hears Hank walking behind him, yawning and cracking his back. What are you working on, old man? Hank asked in a grumpy tone, making Henry chuckle. Someone slept on the wrong side the bed. Yeah, well, it's been a while since I sleep in that room. I am usually in motels. Henry shrugged, still not looking at him as he stands up. Just be lucky your mother and I have no clue what to do with your room, so we keep all your stuff. Anyway, what I'm working on, it's a custom barrier for us your mother came up with. He turned to face Hank with his arms crossed as he continues. Your mom and I aren't getting any younger, well. Not anymore anyway, hee, but we want to leave our stuff and valuables at the house before we pass, so starting now this barrier will be active permanently, he said as he puts a finger on the top of the black pillar, revealing a giant red barrier surrounding the entire land, and then when he removes his finger the barrier becomes invisible. Hank shrugs with a smirk. Cool. So it's going to be abandoned mostly. Henry shakes his head. Nah, your mother put in cleaning and repair enchantments, so once a month the house will be in clean, perfect condition, and anything destroyed will be automatically repaired. The house is more like a safe house for the McKnight family, he explained as Hank nodded, but Henry reached into his jacket pocket and hand Hank a key, but it's a golden phoenix key. Here, take it, there's four for me, you, your mother, and I'll give one to Aurora when she gets in middle school. These Phoenix keys are your keycard to get inside and exit, but you also have to be blood related to me, so any intruders who stole it won't be able to enter, he said, which Hank nodded, taking the keys and put it away in his pocket. Well, you guys are certainly paranoid, he said with a chuckle as Henry sits on the grass facing away from Hank as he takes a deep breath of air. When you live as long as your mother and I, you'll understand one day being paranoid could be useful. Hank stayed silent, processing his father's words as they looked in the distance for a few minutes, enjoying the silence. The silence was broken as Hank coughs for attention. As much as I enjoy the silence, I got a job to do, he said as Henry grumbles. Too lazy to fly there. He slowly got up and stretched. All right, fine, I'm guessing you want me to drive you there, he said as he turned to Hank, who noted, causing Henry to roll his eyes as he waved his hand in a gesture for Hank to follow his father. As they walked, Henry asked, "So why are you even doing the job this early? You could have gotten breakfast first at least," he asked, scratching the back of his head. "Well, I don't know how long I'll be in Brazil. I want to finish the job as fast I can. After all, I have to go to a concert." Hearing what Hank said, Henry gives a childish grin. "Oh, a concert, huh? Your mother and I love those. Did you know I was in one once?" This made Hank's eyes widen. "Really?" Henry nodded. "Yeah, back in Japan early 2000s, idols were starting to be popular on the internet. I was bodyguarding a group of idols, but one thing led to another and I did my job so well they even let me dance with them." This made Hank stroke his chin with ideas in his head. "I wonder if I'll be able to do something like that." Henry shrugged. "Maybe, but if you do, send me a recording of it." Hank nodded in agreement as Hank crossed his arms. "You know, I could just use the bike to get to Brazil myself." Henry shrugs with his hands in his pants pockets. "Well, I feel like driving right now." This made Hank slump of disappointment. "You really like that bike, huh, Dad?" Henry grins with pride while raising 4 fingers at Hank. "Of course I do. It's one of my top 4 priorities in my life." "What's the other priorities in your life?" Hank asked curiously. "Number 1 is your mother, you and Aurora. Number 2 my bike and my family outside my wife and kids like your grandparents are number 3, and lastly number 4 innocent life and everything else." Hank gives Henry a blank look of "Are you serious?" "Wow, thanks for prioritizing us, father." Henry closed his eyes with a big smile. "Of course, kiddo. What kind of person would I be if I didn't prioritize my wife and kids first?" Henry shakes his head while walking to the garage. "Anyway, let's get going. We don't want Ray to get upset," said Henry as he opened the garage and started the Blood Phoenix bike. Hank gets on and they drive off until after touching the main road Henry uses the bike's magic powers to teleport them both to Brazil. Once in Brazil, they drove until they had parked in an alleyway. Hank gets off the bike and relaxes his shoulders. "You sure you don't need my help? With the 2 of us it could be faster," asked Henry, but Hank shakes his head. "I got it, Dad. A murder mystery is no problem for me." Henry raised his hands in mock surrender. "Whatever you say, call me when you're done. I'll get going before your mother gets grumpy from she sleeps alone." Hank chuckles. "Mom was always clingy to you." Henry shrugs. "One of the reasons I married her anyway." Henry salutes to Hank while continuing. "Have fun at Brazil," said Henry as he drove off and teleport away. Hank cracks his knuckles while transforming into a purple slime raven and takes to the skies to his destination. As Hank flies across the city, he mentally reminds himself of the paper Mango gives him. It was an address to where a detective Clara lives, so he kept going until he arrived at a ledge of a rooftop, and in front of him was a small apartment building. As he transformed back to normal, he looked at the piece of paper from his pocket. "Room 2B. Shouldn't be hard to find," he said as he climbed down to head to the front of the apartment building. Once there, he pressed his palm on the door, covering the keyhole with his hand while he cast his magic, so purple slime came out of his palm to go inside the keyhole to form the key for the keyhole. Once completed, he uses the key to get inside and heads upstairs to the front of the door that says 2B On it he looked around for any camera but found none. With no other choice but to move forward, he approaches the door and knock on the door. "Who is it?" a female voice called out while she cracked the door open with a pistol pointing at Hank's head, but he doesn't flinch. "You Detective Clara, name's Hank McKnight. Mango sent me to help you." Detective Clara sigh of relief and opens the door. "Get inside," she ordered, which Hank easily did while she locked the door. "I apologize, Mr. McKnight, for the gun. I was being careful," said Detective Clara while she puts her gun away, but Hank shrugs. "Not the first time being threatened with a gun. Besides, that wouldn't hurt much. My father's revolvers when we do training or spar. Now that would do real damage." Detective Clara chuckles. "I bet being the son of the Bloody Phoenix in all. Speaking of that, how did you get in here?" she asked, making Hank hold his purple slime key. "One word, magic," he said while absorbing the key with his palm, making Detective Clara's eyes widen. "Amazing," she said, but shakes her head. "We're getting sidetracked. I trust Mango give you the rundown of why you're here." Hank nodded. "You're struggling to catch a serial killer, right?" Detective Clara nodded. "Yes, they call themselves the infamous outsider." "Well, that's lame then again. I am not the idiot going around killing people," said Hank, making Detective Clara shrugged. "That's true anyway," she said while showing Hank the board related to their case and hands him a file about the infamous outsider. "This is everything I gathered. From what I understand, the only thing the kills have in common is that they are in one district," said Detective Clara, making Hank nod and look at the file that has the map of where the kills happened. "Which one is their most recent kill?" he asked. Then Detective Clara points at a location on the house. "This was 2 days ago." Hank nodded. "Can you take me there?" Detective Clara raised an eyebrow. "Why, I am sure the police already cleared the place." Hank shake his head. "There's always something they might have missed it. Besides, it's the only lead I can go to right now." Detective Clara sighed. "Fine, follow me," she ordered, so Hank does and leaves the building. As they walk, Hank looks to see the various activities going on throughout the streets, but despite that he stays guarded. They keep walking until they arrive at an apartment building. "The place is inside there. I am guessing you know how to unlock doors since you managed to enter my apartment building," said Detective Clara with a smirk, making Hank roll his eyes. "Yeah, I got this," he said, and press his palm against the keyhole so with his magic purple slime goes inside to form a key. After a while he opened the door and held it for Detective Clara. "After you," he said with a grin that Detective Clara accepted his offer and headed inside while Hank followed her. They eventually opened the door where the victim lived. Detective Clara sniffs the place. At least they managed to clean the place from the gore smell. Hank nodded while flicking a switch, but no electricity. The cops reported that the killer destroyed the electrical box so the victim couldn't see what was happening, explained Detective Clara. Then she points at the bloody rug. "This is where the body was reportedly placed before she went missing." Hank nodded. "Look around while I get the box working," Hank said while walking away. "How it's destroyed?" asked Detective Clara. "Just look around," Hank ordered, so Detective Clara sighed and looked around. Hank keeps walking while thinking, "This behavior, this has to be a work of a demon. It must be feeding on the human flesh and sleep afterwards. It's probably too lazy to go far, so it feeds of the nearby people," he said to himself while he found the electrical box, making Hank's eyes widen seeing the box torn up. "Geez, they weren't kidding. Well, let's just do this," he said as he summons a purple slime ball and toss it at the box, causing the slime to split into multiple pieces, which each connecting the wires to be replacements of the damaged wires, causing the power to go back on, making Detective Clara's eyes widened. "Wow man, I wish I can do that. That would be useful," she said, which made Hank chuckle. "Thanks, but let's keep looking," he said while looking around. As they look, Detective Clara asks, "So Hank, when you cast magic, do you already know all magic spells?" Hank shakes his head. "Unfortunately no, due to my bloodline me and my sister can only do specific kinds of magic, but it's still very useful most of the time. I wish my family was like that." Hank chuckled. "I sure you do. I found something," he said while looking at a bookshelf full of books and slides them away to reveal a bloody knife stabbed to the wall hiding behind the books. Hearing the commotion, Detective Clara approached from behind. "A knife? How did we not find that earlier?" she said, but Hank shrugged and picked up the knife. "Maybe the victim fought back and it went flying here," he theorized, then sniffed the blood on the knife, then turned around to see a red trail. "Look at that, a trail," he said with a smirk, making Detective Clara raise an eyebrow. "How do you have a trail?" she asked while Hank turned to her and scratched his nose. "I was born with an advanced sense of smell, so if I smell an object or blood that belongs to someone's scent, my eyes would show me a trail where the scent belongs to until I see the person," he explained. Detective Clara nodded. "So you're like a magical police dog? Not bad." Hank pouted and grumbled. "I am not a dog. Just follow me," he ordered and ran away following the red trail while Detective Clara followed. They exit the building and dash off while dodging traffic and crowded places and use hallways for shortcuts. They eventually arrive at an abandoned subway tunnel where the trail leads inside. Hank sighed. "This is the place. The killer must be inside. If my theory is correct, they should be still inside," he said. So Detective Clara nodded and readied her firearm and starts walking, but Hank blocks her path with his palm. "You're not going. I got this," Hank declared, making Detective Clara frown. "I can take care of myself. This is my job." "I know it is, but we're dealing with a dangerous killer. They could have dangerous weapons you can't handle." "Doesn't matter. They killed too many people and I will put them down. Now stand aside," she demanded, so Hank raised his hands in mock surrender and let her past. However, as she walked past him, Hank karate chopped her neck, knocking her out. "Gosh, cops are always just ready to be killed," said Hank while catching her and put her on the ground. He cast his magic to toss a purple slime ball at the ground next to her and cover her in a slime dome. He stood up and thought, "If this is a demon, I won't go easy on these bastards," he said while entering the tunnel. Since it's dark, his left hand summons a purple slime orb which glows bright enough to light up the dark area in a purple light. He keeps walking until his nose starts taking up the smell of corpses. Too many of them. "Gosh, this place is disgusting." He uses his magic to transform his mouth and nose into a gas mask made of purple slime. Despite the smell and thanks to the gas mask, he keeps walking until he sees someone surrounded by all the victims who look torn to shreds for fun while gore and blood are all over the tunnel. The person who's surrounded by the torn-apart corpses' appearance is black-hair 30-year-old woman with brown eyes, a scar on their right cheek. She's wearing a blood-covered outfit with white button shirt with rolled sleeves and enough buttons removed to show cleavage, black suit pants and lastly suit shoes. Her entire outfit seems to be a businesswoman, but what makes Hank frown is he activates blood vision, which he and Aurora inherited from their father, as they saw the person as highlighted in yellow, making him sigh of relief. "Thank gosh this is just a shapeshifter, then I don't need to worry a thing." He keeps walking until the shapeshifter notices him, so they turn to face Hank and grin. "Ah, what do we have here? A fellow mortal ready to be my..." She was cut off by a bullet to the head by Hank. "Shut it, I know you're a demon shapeshifter and I couldn't care what you wanna said. After all, I don't go all day, so just transform back to your normal self and die," he demanded while he saw the shapeshifter demon transforms back to her true self. But Hank's eyes widened as he expected a normal shapeshifter demon, but instead he sees a gray-skinned woman wearing a black lingerie with demon wings, red tail with the tip of it shaped like an arrow. red horns, black long hair, pink eyes and lastly black lipstick. The demon flies up and licks her lips making Hank groan. Are you kidding me, a succubus? The succubus grins. You seem to done your research, little merc, now you know my secret, I'll give you a choice. She said. Then in a blitz she appeared behind Hank, rubbing his body and whisper in his ear. You can join me and I'll give you the most amazing pleasure you will ever feel. Hank growls. Sorry, I'm not a pervert. Music gives me real pleasure, but you on the other hand you want. So do yourself a favor and get the heck off of me, he said with a growl while turning as his right hand transforms into a purple slime fist and hit the succubus in the face, which thanks to the purple slime fist it absorbed the kinetic movement and repelled back like a bounce at the succubus, sending her flying to the tunnel wall. The succubus recovered and growled. Damn you, brat, she said while flying away, and used telekinesis to lift one of the abandoned train carts and split it in half and threw it at Hank. Take this, you virgin, she yelled, making Hank roll his eyes and lift both his hands so they both transform into purple slime arms and grab the thrown split in half train cart like effort, as thanks to his slime magic he has no muscles to slow him down lifting things. What, how? She demands to know, but Hank ignores her and throws the train cart back at her, causing her to dodge the train carts, but they explode when they crash into the wall, sending her flying out of the tunnel. So Hank grabs his guitar while transforming it into his battle axe and sprints after her. As soon as he exited the tunnel, another train cart was thrown towards Hank, but Hank summoned purple slime wings and used them to fly up and dodge the cart, making the succubus growl of annoyance. Damn, I thought I had you, she said, but Hank splits his battle axe in half to duel wild while he dashed towards her. But she stops him in place with telekinesis. Crap, well, I should have thought of that. The succubus giggles but lifts the train cart from earlier and shred it into pieces, turning them into 1,000 spikes pointing at Hank. Farewell, little one, it's a shame, I thought your energy would taste delicious to drain, she said, then sends the spikes at him, but Hank uses his magic to transform his entire body into a purple slime version of himself and increase his density to make his entire body bouncy, making the spikes, as soon as they touch him the spikes gets bounced back to another direction, even some hitting the succubus in the chest, making her growl. Gee, I hate magic. But as she said, her concentration forgotten, making Hank able to move barely, but Hank used the chance to throw the right axe, causing it to hit the succubus's shoulder, but he wasn't done as he used the purple slime orb that's inside TBE right axe to use telekinesis, shoving the axe downwards for the ground, taking the succubus with it, sending her crashing down to the ground, creating a small crater, but also lets Hank go from her hold on him. With Hank freed, he recalls the right axe back to his hand while the succubus stands back up and pulls the spikes out of her while regenerating. Now regaining her footing and more angry, she flies up and glares at Hank with fury in her eyes, but Hank just smirks. Is that all you got, you vampire reject? This made the succubus give Hank a big grin. Okay then, boy, it seems I have to go all out, let's see if you can handle this, you brat, she declared. Then she used her telekinesis to lift every object, including the rails in the area, and surrounded her like a tornado. Good luck touching me now, boy, she taunts, but Hank stays quiet but keeps himself guarded as he connects the two axes back together while thinking, she's surrounding the objects like a tornado. Man, if I could use alien sanity form it would be a lot easier, but let's just find a way to kill her in a much safer approach. Fortunately for me, tornadoes have one opening, which is the top, he said in his head as he looked up, deciding where to go. He flies up to the top of her tornado and dive down to where the succubus is, but she seems to notice him and glare as she starts commanding objects from the tornado to go after him. As Hank continues diving, some objects try to hit Hank, but he ignores it as left arm turns into a purple slime shield to block the objects at ease while flying around to get a good opening. When he gets close, he tackles her from behind with the pole of the axe on the back of her neck to make her drag down to land on top of one of the train carts that's in the spinning tornado, leaving the succubus laying on her stomach while Hank's wings gets absorbed back inside him. "I got you now," he yelled in victory, but the succubus growled in demand, "Get off of me." Hank ignores her demand and just put one foot on her back, keeping her still as his left hand grabbed one wing. "Wait, what are you?" But she was cut off as Hank used his axe to cut off her wing, making her scream in pain while Hank did the same to the other wing, making the succubus look over her shoulder at him with pure hatred. But Hank didn't care as he put his axe down and summoned 2 purple slime balls on each hand and grabbed both wounds, causing the purple slime to cover the stump of what's left of her wings. After he was done, the succubus had enough used telekinesis to push him off of her, making him almost fall off, but Hank quickly turned his right hand into purple slime arm and stretch it out like rubber, grabbing his axe and use it to slam into the train cart, saving his fall, and quickly recovered while his arm turns to normal and gets ready to fight with his battle axe on his right hand and a desert eagle on the other hand. The succubus gets up and notices her wings not growing, so she's became furious. "That's it, you're dead, Blondie," she yelled while she used telekinesis to turn a train railing that's from the tornado into a sword and got into a fighting stance while Hank grins, "Bring it on, sucker." With that, Hank and the succubus charged at each other and started fighting in hand-to-hand combat. Despite the succubus's experience, Hank keeps catching her off guard by firing his gun at different parts of her body, and eventually he uses his battle axe to hit her sword off of her grip, making her eyes widen. However, Hank gives her no chance for breather as he puts his desert eagle away, then with his free grabs her head to hit her in the face with his knee, then giving her no chance to breathe, she beats her up with barrages of slashes and combos from his battle axe, causing tons of wounds, exposing her insides and her to bleed everywhere. Then at last he uses his left hand to grab her by the throat, and a purple slime tendril comes out of his back and grab a device from his leather trenchcoat pocket. Soon the tendril pulls out a black device shaped like a silver skull with its mouth open, and under it is a handle attached to it with a single red button. Once acquired, the purple slime tendril press the red button, causing powerful blue flames to come out of the skull's mouth like a dragon and cover the succubus's body to set her on fire, which slowly consumed her body on fire, causing her to roar in agony while grabbing his wrist trying to pull him off, but it wasn't working, causing her to lose complete focus and let go of her telekinesis, which made all the objects that were floating from her telekinesis falls back to the ground, including the train cart they are standing on. So Hank quickly grabs her face with his left hand while purple slime comes out of his palm to cover her mouth, silencing her screams while the flames keeping her burning alive with one hand, while purple slime wings come back out of his body to float as the train cart falls to the ground in a crashing boom. The purple slime tendril, now done with its purpose, puts the device away and retreat back inside his body. Hank smirks at the demon's efforts. "Glad to see my skull flamethrower works. I've been wanting to use that," he said with some pride in himself, making the succubus to glare at him, hating the realization of being used as a test subject. Once he had enough holding her flaming body, he threw the succubus at the train cart. "Get out of my sight," Hank yelled while she crashed and landed at the top of the train cart while her body was still covered in flames as she rolled across the cart, which made the flames slowly go away due to that. As she lays in her back while her body regenerates, she tries to recover by sitting up, but a bullet hits her in the head, causing her body to jerk back to laying down in a thump while Hank points at her with 4 of his fingertips, causing 4 purple slime knives to come out from each fingertip and stab her wrists and calves, making her stuck in place, trapped on the cart. What? No, this can't be. The succubus thought while Hank fell and landed on the train cart unharmed and walked towards her as his wings got absorbed back inside his body. The succubus tries to protest and fights back, but it becomes effortless as Hank grips on his battle axe with both hands and raises them in the air. The last thing the succubus saw was Hank's grin as he said, "Bingo," and slammed the battle axe down to her chest, cutting her heart in half, making the succubus to scream as her body slowly turns into ash. Hank takes a deep breath and transforms his battle axe back into his guitar and put it on while grabbing one of his desert eagles and aim it at the top of the purple slime dome and fires, causing the bullet to go through the top of it, creating a hole on the dome, and soon the purple slime dome cracks and shatters like glass, crumbles and falls to the ground, and they fade away in particles as soon as it makes contact with the ground. While that's happening, Hank just grins while his gun still raises to the sky. "Dang, that felt good," he said while he put his gun away and jumped down to the ground, heading towards the tunnel entrance with his hands in his pockets while the purple slime knives turn into particles and fade from existence as he can telepathically command his purple slime to appear or disappear. Now then, how am I going to explain this to the detective? He wondered in his head as he stopped and thought about that question as he looked around. Until his eyes lightened up in an idea. "That should work," he whispered as he kept walking until he's in front of a small purple slime dome where Detective Clarice's unconscious body is hiding. He looked towards the tunnel entrance and turned his right arm into a purple slime arm and ripped a piece off it at ease and tossed them to the ground while his arm regenerated. The pieces grew and formed into a purple slime winged minion. The purple slime minion kneel awaiting orders, which Hank nodded and handed his skull flamethrower device. "Burn the whole tunnel. I don't want to leave any bodies left to rot. They're not in good state to bury, so it's best we burn them all, but at least bring me a female victim," he ordered with a saddened tone, as he didn't want to disrespect the dead bodies, but he felt like that's the best he can do for them and to get this job out of the way. The purple slime minion nodded and took the skull thrower and flew inside the tunnel, burning the entire tunnel. After a few minutes, the purple slime minion flew back to Hank while holding a female dead victim with her lower half gone. The purple slime minion placed her to the ground and offered the skull flamethrower device. "It is done, my master," it said, making Hank nod and grab the device. "All right, stand by," he ordered while putting the device away as Hank kneels down to the female dead victim. "Sorry about this, but I'll be sure your family won't see you as a killer," he said as he took a photo of her face and used his smartphone to hack into the system, finding her identity of the victim. So he began hacking and erasing all her records like she never existed. With that done, he put his phone away and grabbed a switchblade from his pocket and cut the face just a little bit to be left scared. Once done, he used healing spray on her body, which luckily it worked on dead bodies and illnesses but can't bring them back from the dead. So the spray regrew her legs, but he looked away since the lower half has no clothes. "Crap, forgot about that," he said while blushing. He turned to the purple slime minion. "Find me some pants from a nearby clothing store," he ordered, so the purple slime minion turned into the purple slime crow flew away while Hank looked up to respect the dead body's privacy of her lower half. Soon the purple slime crow returned with a pair of ripped jeans while turning back into human shape and put the pants on. "It's safe to look now, master," the purple slime minion announced, so Hank looked down. "You're dismissed," he said, causing the purple slime minion to turn into purple particles before fading from existence as Hank got his skull flamethrower back out and turned it on, burning the female dead body alive. But before it turns into ash, he turned the dial on the bottom of the skull flamethrower's handle until he heard a click. Once he heard it, he pressed the button and all the flames got absorbed back into the device, leaving a burned female dead body behind, making Hank nod of satisfaction. "Perfect, this should do," he said as he stood back up and lifted the burned body to lift it over his shoulder and approach the small purple slime dome. But by Hank's mental command it turned into purple particles before fading from existence. With the detective unconscious body now visible, he gives Detective Clara gentle slaps on the cheek. "Wakey, wakey, detective," he said, causing Detective Clara to wake up, rubbing her head. "Ow, what happened?" asked Detective Clara as she sat up, noticing the carnage all over the area. "Nothing much, just catch the killer without you," Hank declared, making Detective Clara frown. "You knocked me out, didn't you?" She stands up and pressed the barrel of her gun at Hank's forehead. "Give me one good reason not to arrest you for assaulting an officer," she asked, but Hank just tossed the burned body at her. "Who's this?" Detective Clara asked. "That's the infamous outsider," Hank lied. "This is our killer. What happened to them?" she asked in disbelief while lifting the burned body over her left shoulder while still holding her gun on her right hand. Well, to summarize, apparently she had a really scared face to the point she was impossible to profile, so she created a device around her neck to pretend to be somebody else. She kidnapped the victims to have fun tearing them apart, to the point where when I found them I had to burn them. Long story short, I destroyed the device, but in return she tried to kill me and I had no choice but to burn her alive, and here we are." Hank explained his made-up story of the events, but Detective Clara nodded, seemed to not believe him, but since knowing she couldn't interrogate him for more information, she decided to go along with the story. "Well, as much as I would hate that you went there alone, you did do your job." She puts her gun away and offers him a handshake. "Thank you, Mr. McKnight, until we meet again," she promised. Hank accepted the handshake. "Take care, detective," he said before he transformed his legs into purple slime legs with springs on his knees and calves to speed blitz from the crime scene, leaving the detective confused and giving a heavy sigh. Chapter 35: The Magical Phoenix. After a little while, Hank managed to find a hiding spot in an alleyway, so he took a seat on the floor and texted Henry to pick him up. After waiting a few seconds, Henry teleported while driving the bike and holding a water bottle. "Hey kiddo, look at that, you managed to finish up before lunchtime. Glad to see I trained you well," Henry said while he rolls his eyes, smirking. "Although it would be faster if I was here," he continued with a chuckle while he tossing Hank the water bottle. Hank accepted the water bottle and chucked it down. "Yeah, but you would take all the fun," he said, which made Henry laugh while he crossed his arms to lean his head on the bike. "You're probably right. After all, you have only been doing this after high school, so I guess you need the experience without your dear old dad, huh?" he said with a pout, making Hank laugh. "Oh, don't be like that, Dad. I needed the challenge anyways." Henry shrugged. "Fair enough. So how did the job go?" "Well, it's done, but I'll explain more once we meet Mango so he can give me my paycheck." He goes to sit on the bike behind Henry. "All right, do you know where he could be?" Henry asked while Hank grabs his phone. "He's still in Philadelphia, so I am texting him to meet us at Penrose Diner," Hank explained, so Henry turns on the engine. "Then Penrose it is," Henry concluded while he's starting the bike, and they drive off to the main road until Henry does a wheelie until the bike teleports them out of there. Now in Philadelphia, they took a drive around the state until they arrived at Penrose Diner and parked nearby. They get off the bike and make their way to the entrance and took a seat. "It looks like the ginger isn't here yet," said Henry while looking at the menu, but as he said that Mango entered the diner and approached the two McKnights and took a seat next to Hank. It seems I arrive at perfect time. Good to see you, Hank, and you too, Mr. McKnight. Henry puts the menu down and give a small smile. Likewise, Mango, I trust you've been taking care of my fixer, hee. Mango chuckles. Yes, Dad is doing well, enjoying his retirement with my mom anyways. Mango turned to Hank. So how did it go? Hank shrugged. It was all right. Turns out the killer was a succubus in disguise. Henry raised an eyebrow. A succubus? Those things are slippery bastards. Hank nodded. Yeah, and annoying, trying to seduce me. Gosh, I hate perverts. Anyways, she tear the victims apart before she drains their energies to the point of death, but I managed to burn their corpses to rest in peace. Mango nodded. Any problems or witnesses? He asked, but Hank shakes his head. Just the detective I was stuck with to tag along with. She tried to assist me to defeat the killer, but I knocked her out before she even entered the subway tunnel the succubus lived in. I had to make a fake burned body and convince her they are the criminal. Hank explained, making Henry rolls his eyes. Damn cops always get in our way. No wonder I prefer to work alone. Hank raised an eyebrow. Didn't you team up with Mom and TGE when Godslingers existed you told me about? Hank asked, making Henry point at him. Hey, that was different. I only did it for your mother. Henry crossed his arms, looking away, pouting before continuing. Besides, your mother was too stubborn to have the helpers get involved. Mango coughs to get the two of them to look at him. Anyway, Hank, do you think the detective will believe your trick for long? Hank shrugged. I only did it to calm the public or avoid any problems. You know how crazy those nosy reporters can be. Mango chuckled. Well, clever, but it doesn't concern us. Here, your cut, he said while splitting the paycheck 50-50 and gave Hank their cut. Mind if I ask why would our client care about some killer in Brazil or be aware of it? Henry asked while Mango stood up. They explained they used to be a friend of one of the victims. However, they escaped the country to stay away from the killer. Anyways, boys, I should get going. As Henry heard that, he stands up and crosses his arms, blocking his path. Why don't we stay for lunch? Mango shakes his head. Sorry, but I'm good. Henry raises an eyebrow. Oh really? When was the last you ate, mister? Mango thinks. Well, I had a small breakfast. Hearing that, Henry sighed. Mango, you're overworking yourself. You need to eat. It's unhealthy. I said I'm fine, Mr. McKnight. Mango yelled while taking a step, but Henry puts a hand on Mango's shoulder before he could escape. Mango, listen to me. I may be your father's favorite merc, and hell, I am like a big brother to him, but I am also like an uncle figure to you, which makes you somewhat part of this family, which means I won't let you leave feeling unhealthy. So you're taking a effing break and sit down, and we're going to have lunch. Do you hear me, Mango? Henry ordered seriously, making Mango look down and sigh. Yes, sir, said Mango, making Henry smile and pats his head. Good, he said while he sits down, while Mango sits down next to Hank. Hey, cheer up, Hank is paying. This made Hank's eyes widen. Since when did I agree paying? Since I said so, said Henry with a grin. Now get that wallet ready and let's eat, he said while looking at the menu, and Mango does the same while chuckling. Unbelievable, grumbled Hank. Hours later at night time, Henry is driving his bike while Hank is on the back seat again as they drive to Ray's place. After the drive in silence and listening to the radio, they eventually park the bike right in front of her house. Henry grins and presses the honk button. Come on out, party girl, he's waiting for you, said Henry, making Hank blush of embarrassment while face-palming. He gets off the bike and walks towards the front yard. You're such an embarrassment. What if the neighbors see us? Said Hank, but Henry walks up next to Hank while smiling and giving Hank a thumbs up. That means I'm doing a great job as a parent, ha ha ha. Hank just groans of annoyance until the front door opens, revealing Ray in a punk rock style, clearly prepared for the concert. Seeing Ray like this makes Henry whistle in approval. Damn, Ray looking great, very fitting. Ray smirks. Why thank you Mr. Phoenix, I just hope it gets Party Z's attention. She looked at Hank. You got everything taken care of? She asked in seriousness, clearly don't want anything to ruin the night, but Hank gives her a thumbs up. We're all good to go. This made Ray nod in approval with her hands in her hips. Good, I want no supernatural BS going on in my concert, she said while Henry slowly walks away to his bike, trying to hide his laugh, as in his line of work that's almost impossible. Ray, hearing Henry's laugh, made her roll her eyes. Anyway, shall we get going? We might have time to get snacks before it starts, suggested Ray, so Hank nods, scratching the back of his head. Oh yeah, that's a good idea, I might get hungry while watching, said Hank. Hey kid, yelled Henry while tossing the keys to his Phoenix bike to Hank, which he catch it. Go ahead, this will take you there faster, said Henry, making Hank raise an eyebrow. You sure? Hank asked while Henry nods, grabbing his Bloody Phoenix bike remote, pointing at the blue button. Yeah, besides if you lose it I will press the blue button to teleport my bike back, and I don't want you to waste time flying, explained Henry, making Hank nodded. How will you get home, Henry? Ray asks, but Henry grins and turns into his Bloody Phoenix form, which Hanks and Ray didn't react since they are used to seeing it. Don't worry, flying home isn't too far. Now then, have fun kids, but not too much fun, he said while flying away. Hank just sighs, takes a deep breath. Frick, he's such a pain in the butt anyway, shall we Ray? Ray nods. Yes, lead the way Magical Phoenix, she teased, making Hank roll his eyes and get on the bike while Ray gets on and wraps her arm around his waist. Hank starts the bike and they drive off. Ray grins of an idea. Hey Hank. Hank looks over his shoulder. What's up? Let's get out of here with style, she said, making Hank grin, so he snapped summons a purple slime disc and threw it at the street, creating a purple slime ramp. Hit it man, said Ray, so Hank revved the bike and pull a wheelie while the thrusters come out of the exhausts while they drive on the purple slime ramp and fly out of the road while the ramp turns into purple particles before fading from existence after use. Woo! Yelled Ray in excitement while Hank uses the bike to teleport away. Now teleported to Los Angeles, still in mid-air, Hank turns the bike and landed in the highway while cars behind them honk at them, but Hank and Ray just laughs it off. Ha 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 ha, I'm not going to get tired of that. Yeah, I am almost jealous my dad gets to keep this, my mom loves spoiling him, said Hank while they drive off to the stadium where they supposed to have the Party Z concert. Once arrived, they start to see the crowd and how many people are entering the place while they drove to the parking lot. Dang, that's a lot of fricking people, said Hank, making Ray nod. No kidding, but that won't stop us, she said while clenching her fist of determination. Hank chuckles while he keeps driving until they finally park the bike and get off. Hank pockets the keys while walking, with Ray walking besides him. As they keep walking, Ray grabs his biceps, catching Hank's attention. It's going to be very crowded, I don't want you to get lost, she explained, making Hank smile and playfully teased. Good idea, if I lost you, you would be impossible to find, he said, making Ray growl and look at him. I'm not that small, you're just too tall. Hank just laughs it off, making her pout while they keep walking. They eventually arrive and enjoy their time before the show starts, gathering snacks and looking at the merchandise and technology displayed around the place. While they walk, Hank notices a gray-hooded man with a suitcase walk past him. However, Hank notices they have red glowing eyes, which didn't bother him until the scent he got from him, which made his eyes widen. A vampire here of all times, full of people, gotta keep an eye out, said Hank in his head while trying to stay calm to not make Ray's mood destroyed. After an hour they eventually make their way to some seats and sit down. "All right, time to rock out, you excited, Hank?" Ray asks, looking at him excitingly. Hank nods. "Yeah, always amazing to listen to a pro show their expertise in person." After he said that, the stage goes darker, but on the center stage where the event is happening, that has a giant TV screen on top of the stage for people to see, a person comes out from under the stage standing on a platform with a pink guitar on hand. Her appearance is pink hair, gray eyes, black lipstick and makeup, piercings on her ears, nose and tongue. Her outfit is a plastic pink see-through jacket, an earpiece microphone on her right ear, black pants with diamonds on her knee pads, white crop top with the letter Z on the center but shaped like a logo, and lastly white boots with pink soles and pink laces. After some dramatics, holograms appear behind her showing holographic versions of herself using different instruments, while pink smoke start to appear while the lights return slowly, causing the crowd to cheer. As the smoke cleared, the woman became visible, revealed to be Party Z herself, as she calls out, "Hello my party people, who's ready to dance?" Her call-out causes the entire crowd to applaud and scream for her attention, making Party Z giggle. "Good to hear. Now I don't know about you, but I think it's time to party," she yells to the crowd while playing her guitar and eventually starts singing her rock song. Meanwhile, as the song is going on, while Hank and Ray enjoying themselves, the gray-hooded figure took a high vantage point. He placed his suitcase down and opened it to reveal sniper parts. He started assembling the silenced sniper that was inside the case. The song keeps going heavier, causing everyone to stand and cheer. Meanwhile, back with Hank and Ray enjoying themselves, Hank stops cheering and starts to smell something. Gunpowder, he thinks to himself. He activates blood vision, causing him to see a sniper with a light gray highlight with a red aura. As he saw the sniper fired the bullet and it goes towards Party Z. With reflexes, Hank summons a purple slime shuriken and threw it at the bullet's direction, which caused the bullet to make contact with it, and T flies back to the sniper, causing the gray-hooded figure's sniper to send flying out of his hand and flies in a far distance, causing it to fall away from the high vantage point, so he goes to get it. As it did that, the purple slime shuriken kept going until it landed in a wall, but it quickly turned into purple particles before fading away. Hank, now realizing what's going on, his face went from relaxed with a determination as he gets ready to move, but Ray grabs his wrist. "Hank, what's wrong?" she yelled in confusion, so Hank leaned to his ear and said, "There's an assassin here to take out Party Z, I'll take care of it." Ray, now upset her idol is being threatened, Ray give him an understanding nodded while letting go on his wrist, so Hank ran past the crowd and ran away while the song ends. When Hank arrives at the hallway, he runs away. "I can't let this concert be ruined," he said to himself as he heads outside the front doors and uses his purple slime wings to fly towards the assassin. Meanwhile, the assassin grabs the sniper back and checks on it and sees the bullet hole that went through the sniper, making the assassin pissed. "Damn, it looks like I gotta do this while she's in the backstage after this song," he said while in the background Party Z is playing her next song. However, Hank without his wings tackles the assassin, pining them to the floor. "Got you," said Hank as he throws a punch, but the assassin's head dodged, so it made Hank punch the ground. The assassin goes for the bite on the neck, but Hank dodges and backs away from the vampire, getting his guitar axe, transforming it into battle axe mode while the vampire gets back up. "Dang vampire, What's a bloodsucker like you doing here trying to assassinate a pop star? The vampire cracks his neck. That's none of your business, mortal, you. Shouldn't have gotten in my way, he said while charging at him with superhuman speeds. However, Hank turns both his legs into purple slime legs with springs for knees and calves and dodge the attack thanks to the increased speed, and they start fighting while the current Party Z song is playing. They trade blow after blow with some attacks. The vampire uses his claws to attack while Hank counters and blocks with his battle axe, but they manage to get damage at each other so far. Then in one attack the vampire charged at Hank again with a punch while Hank turned his left hand into a purple slime gauntlet and away and did the same, so they clash fist causing a small shockwave. As they try to push each other fist off the vampire, in one quick motion he opens his fist to grab Hank's fist to pull Hank towards him to bite his neck. Hank groans in pain but kicks the vampire in the crotch, causing the vampire to back away while Hank's neck regenerates and he creates a purple slime stake and stabs the vampire in the heart with it, but it had no effect on it, causing the vampire to punch Hank, sending him to the wall to make him stuck to it. The vampire walks towards Hank while removing the purple slime stake, causing it to turn into particles and fade away from its chest to regenerate while changing his eyes to yellow. He stares at Hank's eyes. "You will kneel before me," ordered the vampire, but Hank smirked, making the vampire's eyes widen. "He's immune to my mind control," he thought, but Hank used the opportunity to slam his battle axe at the vampire's chest and used telekinesis on the battle axe, pushing the vampire away, causing it to send flying backwards. Meanwhile, at the concert, Party Z finished her second song of the night while she takes a breather. "I bet that got you all hyped up for our final song of the night. Well, we're going to take a 10-minute break, so please my darling fans, take your time to refill on snacks or use the restroom. We'll see you all soon, party people," yelled Party Z happily while waving to them, heading to the backstage hallway. As the people figure out what to do during the break, Ray looks around. "Hank, what's taking you so long?" she said in her head. Meanwhile, the vampire gets back on his feet, throwing the battle axe across the area while Hank gets out of the wall and turns into his purple slime form and turns into a puddle of purple slime, making the vampire growl but at the same time confused. Before the vampire can do anything, in an instant the entire floor gets covered in purple slime, but purple spikes appear from the ground, forcing the vampire to shapeshift into a bat and fly away to the sky. "I can't beat him now. I need to retreat and find a strategy," the vampire said in his head while Hank transformed back to normal. However, while flying, the bat flies. He doesn't get to fly away far as Hank grabs his battle axe and throws it at the bat, causing it to stab into the bat's back, and thanks to telekinesis on the weapon the bat flies in place. "What the hell, this can't be possible," yelled the vampire, but Hank, now having an opening, he grew purple slime wings and flew up towards the vampire and grabbed him by the back of the head and flew down, slamming the vampire's body to the ground where the backstage hallway is, scaring the workers away while Hank, the vampire, and the battle axe scattered on the floor. As Hank and the vampire turned back in human forms, they slowly regained consciousness after crashing into the ground, but Hank tackles the vampire to a chokehold while Hank summons purple slime tendrils to come out of his back and grab each end of the vampire's mouth to keep it open so he doesn't bite Hank again, but the vampire's fangs are exposed. While this is happening, the guards arrive with their firearms aimed at the both of them. "That's enough, you two, hands up," ordered one of the guards. "I can't, this guy is here to assassinate Party Z," said Hank, making the guards raise an eyebrow. Do you have any proof of it, sir? Asked another guard. There's a sniper up on one of the rooftops with this idiot's fingerprints on it, including the trigger, since he's not wearing gloves, said Hank, making one of the guards put on rubber gloves and sprint away. As the guard ran away, Party Z approached the commotion with a frown. What's all the noise? I have to do my last song soon, she said to one of the guards. Madam, the blondie claims to be saving you from an assassin, answered one of the guards, making Party Z raised an eyebrow while looking at Hank. Is that true? She asked, but Hank nodded. Do you know why? She asked, but Hank shakes his head. No idea. I saw him aim the sniper at your head, so I catched him before anything. I didn't want your concert ruined because of him. That answer made Party Z smile. You a fan, kid? Hank nodded. Yeah, me and my best friend came here together. We admire your work, Party Z. Party Z nodded while the guard with the rubber gloves returned holding the sniper and stand next to Party Z. Party Z, I have done a fingerprint scan of the gun. The blondie is telling the truth and the sniper belonged to attacker, he declared while showing Party Z the profile of the attacker's identity. Party Z nodded and looked at Hank. Can you let go of his mouth? I have a question for him, she requested Hank, so Hank manipulate the purple slime tendrils to retreat back inside his body, allowing the vampire to talk while Hank still put him on a chokehold. Damn you, child. You ruin everything, yelled the vampire, making Party Z kneel in front of him. I only got one question. Who hired you to kill me? The vampire frowns. Your rivals sends their regards, he said with a grin, making Party Z frown. I should have known it was them, but I wouldn't stoop them for being this low enough to try to kill me, she said while standing up. Guards, get the assassin out of here and leave the blondie to me. The guards nod while Hank knocked the vampire out so the guards can easily take him away while Hank stands up. Party Z offers a handshake. I thank you for saving my life. What is your name? She asked while Hank shakes her hand. Name's Hank McKnight, ma'am, he said, making Party Z giggle about the formalities, but she saw Hank grab his battle axe, transforming it back into his guitar and strap it to his back, making her raise an eyebrow. You know how to play a guitar? She asked, which made Hank rub the back of his head. I'm a musician in training, but I have a small cry-tube channel called the Magical Phoenix, hee. Hearing that, Party Z eyes widened. You're the Magical Phoenix, she yelled in question, making Hank's eyes widen. Wait, you heard of me? He asked, taking a step back while Party Z nodded. Yeah, you are popping in on recommendations in the cry-tube homepage for a while now. I listen to your songs and I really love them, so keep up the good work. This confession made Hank blush of embarrassment. Oh, thank you, it's an honor to hear it from you. Party Z grins. You know, I was going to play my last song for the day, but do you maybe want to do a collaboration just for tonight? Hank couldn't believe what he was hearing. You want me to play on stage with you? Party Z nodded. Yes, think of it as a reward for saving my life, Mr. McKnight, so what do you say? She asked with a hopeful smile. Hank thinks for a moment, then said with a nod. It would be my honor to play on stage with you, but first my best friend. She's my manager for my cry-tube channel. I need her knowledge of what's going on. Party Z nodded. Of course, we'll have her sent to you by the guards. Is there anything else? She asked, which Hank rubbed his chin then nodded. I'm not ready to publish my identity, so I need a mask and cloak, he ordered, so Party Z gives a thumbs up and walks away. 2 minutes later Ray was escorted by the guards to the hallway backstage until she saw Hank, causing her to release a breath she didn't know she was holding. She sprinted towards him. "There you are, what happened?" Hank shrugged. "Turns out the assassin was a vampire, so we had a big fight until Party Z and her guards got involved." This made Ray look at him with concern. "What did she say?" "Well, luckily with the fingerprint scan on the weapon I was claimed innocent, but Ray, I got great news," he said with a grin, making Ray raise an eyebrow. "What is it?" "I'm going on stage with Party Z since she knows about the channel," he said, making Ray's eyes widen with excitement. "Wait, you're going on stage?" She bounced in excitement, squealing with joy. "That's unbelievable, I'm so happy for you, Hank. This is going to be a big step in our career." Hank nodded. "Yeah, but I am kinda nervous," he said with a whisper, but Ray crosses her arms, looking at him with a teasing look. "What's the matter, hot shot? Nervous around crowds?" Hank looks away. "Maybe a little bit." Ray sighs heavily before getting serious. "I know it's sudden and a lot for you, but I believe you, pal. You're the best musician I ever met. If anyone can do it, it's you." This made Hank smile as he looked at her. "Thanks, Ray," he said, opening his arms and offer a hug, but Ray puts a palm on his face. "Nope, slow down, cowboy. I am still a lesbian. I am not hugging you," she said, making Hank lower his arms and shrug but offer his fist. "What about a fist bump?" Ray nodded with a grin as she gave him a fist bump. "I'll go back to my seat, but I'll record everything for the CryTube channel. Good luck, Phoenix Jr., she teased before walking away while Party Z approached Hank from behind. She smirked at the best friend's banter while holding a black cloak, which is like a Grim Reaper cloak, and a blue phoenix face mask. "You're a lucky boy to have a friend this supportive," she spoke, but her sudden appearance startling Hank. "Ah geez, Party Z, give me a warning next time," he said, making Party Z giggle while giving the items to Hank. "Here, this should do for your magical phoenix persona. Feel free to keep it for interviewers and autographs," she said with a wink while heading towards the stage. "Come on then, Phoenix," she ordered, which caused Hank to grin. Meanwhile, as Party Z makes her way to the stage, the crowd, now back in their seats, cheered for her, making her laugh while Ray got back to her original seat and pulled her smartphone out and recorded the whole thing. Party Z starts talking on the microphone. "Haha, I can tell you all are ready to have one last party. However, I do want to show my special guest a little collaboration just for tonight. This person has made a small name for themselves at their CryTube channel, which I admire very much. You may not know them, but you will know them tonight, so without further ado," she said while snapping her fingers, causing blue smoke to surround the area while the holograms of Party Z reappear, start hyping up the crowd. The crowd cheered for who it is until the smoke clears, revealing a person covered in a black cloak with a hood over them, and on their face was a blue phoenix face mask. "Behold my new friend of music, the magical Phoenix," said Party Z, making the crowd cheered louder once their name was called. Hank is now on stage wearing his new magical phoenix persona, holding his purple electric guitar with left hand while it's strapped in the other hand. He lifts it in the air to show his purple guitar pick. Then he grins and says 3 words, "Let's rock, baby," he said while using his guitar pick to play the first strings on his guitar. With that, that's how the Bloody Phoenix Rebirth ends.